If you've ever considered building a robot army, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be the Thursday, October 23rd edition for 2025. Quantum is back. Tesla earnings happened. Elon talked about a robot army. It was a wild day for news flow after the market closed yesterday. We're going to recap, a lot of that. We're going to take a look at the market here today. Of course, we're going to do some trading. We also have our futures forward segment here today. So I'm going to do all of that here today. Locked in. It is a Thursday, October 23rd for 2025, and Benzinga's pre-market playbook starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. Hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your hump day. Thursday is here. Another day is here, and it is time for us to make some sense of it. Francis is first here this morning. Good morning, Francis. Early bird gets the worm. Brian Brunning, good morning. Spec Ops, dang, sorry to hear about that, Brian. All the best, brother. Okay, I didn't see the comment from Brian, but Brian, whatever is going on, I hope that you are okay. Sorry, don't see it here in the chat log. But good morning. Judge, good morning. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Producer said, so sorry, Brian. What? I'm sorry for asking, but what happened? Peter, I'm thinking a great day today. Peter, I like what you're thinking. Welcome back and good morning. And yes, you are correct. We are going to have a good day here today. Tom, good morning. Stay positive together. We got this. That's right, Tom. Positive vibes will lift the boat for everybody. We'll keep that going. Good morning, Azrar. Good morning, Crimp Biscuit. Good morning, Big Dave. Good morning, Sun-Kissed Yogi. Kevin, good morning. Harvey Shadow, good morning. Yes, that girl, good morning. Corey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, Brian. Man, why am I like the only person that doesn't know what happened to Brian? Brian, I hope everything is okay. Lots of love from our community here, and I love to see that. So pat on the back for everybody for that. We're going to start that off early here today. Lion Atlas, good morning. Welcome back. Moni says, morning from Denver. All right, we got some more mountain folk out here. Good morning. Bernhard, good morning. Ed Rowe, good morning. Cam, good morning. Unpopular Truth, good morning. Angelo, good morning. Yeah, so fine. Good morning, indeed. Indeed, it's going to be a fine Thursday. Yeah, so fine. Parvez, good morning. Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. Durkis, good morning. Laura in Florida, good morning and welcome back. Abby and Brandy, good morning. Lambo Rolls, what's going on, my guy? Kenneth, good morning. Ahmed, good morning. Albert, good morning. Zoo and Johnny, good morning. Bobby and Workstation, good morning. Michael Duck Lombardo, good morning. Love the energy here today. You guys are doing great. JJ, good morning. Just passing through. Good morning. Producer Brian had to put his dog down. Yeah, I'm really sorry for your loss. I'll tell you this. I'm a huge animal person. Animals are my kids and my family. And so I completely understand. When I lose some of the animals that I have, you will not see me on the show. So Brian, our hearts go out with you. Our hearts go out to you. I'm very sorry for your loss. Tyler, good morning. Veggie Girl, good morning. Knights Lance, good morning. Scott, good morning. Had a birdie yesterday. Let's go, Scott. Par 3, par 4, par 5, birdies all around. I love that. Cam, good morning. Reaching Financial Freedom, good morning. Michelle, good morning. Kendall, good morning. Zach, good morning. So I guess I'll have to say good morning twice. See, here's the thing, Zach. I don't know when my Restream chat picks up the chat log. I know you're in Europe, so you're like midway through the day when it's very early in the morning here. So I guess that just kind of means it's going to be a surprise who gets the first post in my chat there. But yeah, missed it. Sorry about that. And then Cam, Unpopular Truth, Michelle, Johnny, good morning. Scott, a par 4, nice job. Nice job. Par 4s, I feel like are the hardest, right? You hit the green on a par 3, probably have just a birdie tap in. Or at least a birdie attempt. And a par 5, if you hit long, you can really kind of make up a stroke there. Par 4 is hardest to get a birdie on. You have to be accurate from the tee to the green. That's good stuff, Scott. That's good stuff. That birdie will make you come back to the course, won't it? That's what it does for me, that's for sure. Whis, good morning. Michael, good morning. Angelito, good morning. And Edward, good morning. Folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures under a bit of pressure here today. S&P futures down 0.2%. It's notable this was actually up higher in the morning, but has retreated ahead of the open here today. Dow futures down 0.22%, and the NASDAQ futures down 0.3% here ahead of the open. Let's go ahead and take a look at some cues from last session. Most sectors on the S&P 500 closed on a negative note, with communication services, industrials, and consumer discretionary stocks recording the biggest losses on Wednesday. U.S. futures were swinging on Thursday following Wednesday's declines. Futures of major benchmark indices were lower and are lower here still. A wave of disappointing earnings guidance and escalating U.S.-China tensions rattled investors' confidence. The Trump administration is considering new restrictions on exports to China that would target products either made with or containing U.S.-developed software. Additionally, the administration is reportedly in talks with several U.S. quantum computing companies to take ownership stakes in exchange for federal funding. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a sec. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 3.98%, still holding under the 4% level, and the 2-year bond was at 3.46%. Now, we do have some stocks in focus. These are going to be a lot of the earnings plays here. Tesla fell 3.04% in the pre-market on Thursday after reporting better than expected revenue for the third quarter, while earnings missed estimates. International Business Machines, or IBM, dropped 7.14% despite reporting better than expected financial results for the third quarter after the market closed on Wednesday. IBM also said it now expects constant currency revenue growth of more than 5% for full year 2025, up from the prior guide of at least 5%. American Airlines is our third stock in focus here. That's ticker AAL. It was 1.41% higher as analysts expect a quarterly loss of 28 cents per share and revenue of $13.63 billion. American Airlines trading higher here in the pre-market, actually right near the highs of the pre-market. Your pre-market high, 1268. MedSpace Holdings is the next stock on our list here. That's ticker MEDP. That surged 18.52% after it reported third quarter revenue of $659.9 million and earnings of $3.86 per share, both surpassing analyst estimates. Ford Motor Company rounds out our list here this morning. Shares were unchanged as it's scheduled to report earnings after the closing bell here today. Analysts expect earnings of 36 cents per share on revenue of $43.08 billion. All right, let's go back to Pro and let's take a look at our SPY chart here today, figure out where we're at. Come on, SPY. Load it up for me here. Load it up for me here. Let me actually just, oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Here's your SPY chart for today. We are still in that range. Yes, 667.34 is the bottom end of the sideways area up near all-time highs that we've been trading at or near. We're still technically above that, as well as still being above the 20-day moving average. That value is 666.46. So these are definitely going to be some key levels here today. 667.34, we're actually beneath that now here in the pre-market. Apologize for that, but we are still barely hanging on to the 20-day moving average. We'll see if we get any type of upside move here today. This is what it looks like intraday. Again, we actually, when the pre-market opened, we actually did trade higher, but we've been leaking a little bit here in the pre-market. You will notice that we did bounce off of that 667.34 level that we have identified, but it was a short-lived bounce before finally trading under it. So we'll see if we can recapture any of these. We'll see if the weakness continues to move into the open. We'll see what else we can kind of go after here based on SPY. But looking at the chart here, the 20-day moving average is absolutely going to be in focus here today, 666.5. We're going to be looking at that. All right, let's go take a look at some insights from analysts here. Mike Wilson, Morgan Stanley CIO and chief U.S. equity strategist, issued a bold directive toward the Federal Reserve, arguing the central bank is, quote, behind the curve, end quote, and must deliver meaningful rate cuts. In a conversation with CNBC, Wilson contended that the Fed is trailing the two-year Treasury yield by 75 to 85 basis points, which is, quote, just 3 cuts to get to neutral, end quote. To truly get ahead of the curve, he believes the Fed needs to cut by 150 basis points or more. He argued the Fed is willing to he argued that the Fed is waiting for a clear signal to act. Quote, the only way they're going to do that is if we get weaker labor data, which I think is probably forthcoming, or we get some sort of bond volatility, end quote. The aggressive rate cut stance supports Wilson's broader contrarian thesis that the economy is not, quote, late cycle, end quote, but has already transitioned into an early cycle new recovery. He dismissed recent volatility, pointing to market fundamentals as proof of a new cycle. Quote, the stock market is smarter than all of us, end quote. Sometimes it seems that way. Other times it doesn't seem that way. Mike Wilson's been doing this for a long time, though. Adding that earnings revisions now have really exploded higher in a way they only do in a new economic cycle. Some upcoming economic data for today. The initial jobless claims for last week will still be delayed because of the impending government shutdown. Existing home sales for September will be out by 10. Vice Chair of Supervision Michelle Bowman will testify before the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee at 10, and Fed Governor Michael Barr will speak at 10:25. Now let's take a look here at Tesla. I'm actually going to go back to Pro briefly here. We're going to start with the chart. Tesla down 4% here in the pre-market, currently trading at 421. Similarly, I would say to the SPY, we have a kind of a sideways range here that has acted as both resistance and support. We currently find ourselves in that range. Bottom end of that range is 417.13. You want to round that down to 417. That makes a lot of sense. We'll see if we can kind of hang on to this, maybe trade back up, or if we punch beneath this, perhaps the 50-day moving average down there at 395.5 is our next stop here for Tesla. Let's take a look at the earnings report. Electric vehicle company Tesla reported third quarter financial results after the market closed yesterday. Tesla reported third quarter revenue of $28.095 billion. That's up 12% year over year. The revenue total beat a street consensus of $26.239 billion, according to data from Benzinga Pro. This marked the first revenue beat compared to consensus estimates by the company after 4 straight misses. Automotive revenue was $21.21 billion in the quarter. That's up 6% year over year. Revenue growth was aided by an increase in delivery, energy, and services, and hindered by lower regulatory credit revenue. Tesla reported third quarter earnings per share of 50 cents, which missed the street consensus estimate of 54 cents per share. This was the 4th straight miss for earnings per share by Tesla. Operating income fell 40% year over year to $1.6 billion in the third quarter, with the company reporting an operating margin of 5.8%. Tesla previously reported third quarter deliveries of 497,099, a new company record. The company also reported third quarter production of 447,450 vehicles. The company said record deliveries came with growth across all regions. Energy storage was also a record in the third quarter, with 12.5 gigawatt hours storage deployed. Tesla ended the quarter with 7,753 supercharger locations. That's up 16% year over year. The company ended the quarter with 73,817 supercharger connectors. So that infrastructure continues to get built out. The company had $1.31 billion in digital assets on the balance sheet at the end of the quarter, likely made up of Bitcoin. This marked an increase in value from the $1.235 billion reported in the second quarter. Tesla ended the quarter with $41.6 billion in cash. Tesla said it will continue to launch products that excited customers, including the Model YL, Model Y Performance, and the new affordable Model 3 and Model Y standard vehicles. Quote, we believe our scale and cost structure will enable us to navigate the shifting market dynamics across the globe more efficiently than our peers, with advances in AI making our compelling in the market, end quote. Tesla said it focused on long-term growth and value creation, which comes in the face of tariffs and shifting trade policies. The company said it had sufficient liquidity to fund its product roadmap for the long-term capacity expansion plans. Tesla said the Cybercab, the Tesla Semi, and the Megapack 3 are all on schedule for volume production in 2026. The company also said its Optimus bot has first-generation production lines being installed ahead of anticipated volume production. It's also funny. Elon Musk in that in the conference call pretty much went at activist investors, said that, hey, if I build a robot army and other people are trying to oust me and take control of that, just interesting example to use. Kind of made me chuckle. And after I thought about it, I was like, robot army, that's no good. That can't be good. Let me know if you think that's good. Robot Army, Tesla Robot Army. Gary Black says Elon Musk's buzzwords and technical jargon did little to boost investor confidence during the earnings call. Tesla, by the way, just another quick peek here. Tesla at the pre-market lows of the day down here, 421.22. Future Funds LLC Managing Director Gary Black says that Tesla's CEO Elon Musk's comments about the future aren't enough to instill investor confidence in the company's investors following a mixed Q3 earnings report. Taking to the social media platform X, the investors shared his thoughts on the EV giant's earnings call in a post on Wednesday. Quote, Tesla Q3 earnings call was long on promise, but short on specifics, end quote. He then went on to provide a highlight of the earnings conference's major points, including the question of whether Tesla would remove onboard safety operators from its robotaxis, which Musk addressed during the call. The investor said Musk's comments seem fit for engineers and not investors. Quote, the technical jargon and buzzwords did little to instill confidence. Hence, the stock price kept falling during most of the call, end quote. Let me know if you agree with that. Would you prefer that he speak more to investors or remain more technical? Curious where you guys fall on that one. Personally, I like when CEOs are technical or use industry jargon, because if I don't understand something, that gives me a idea of, hey, what should I look into a little bit more? What arm of this business do I need to understand better to make a better decision? I don't mind this at all. It does mean that it's harder to get through some of those conference calls. I really struggle with some of the medical and biotech ones because that's not really my jam. Anyway, he added that the company's management should have instead focused on discussing major strategic initiatives, early consumer response to the new, more affordable vehicles, among other things. Gerber Kawasaki co-founder Ross Gerber, during an interview, said that Tesla's focus shifting away from its core business, like EVs, which the investor believes is still widely profitable for Tesla, would be a strategic error for Musk's EV giant. He also outlined that Tesla makes the best cars in the world, and he still personally owned Tesla stock, while also holding over 80 million worth of Tesla shares for clients. Musk, meanwhile, called proxy advisor firms. I think I said activist investors before. I apologize for getting that wrong. Here's the quote. Musk meanwhile, called proxy advisory firms like International Shareholder Services, ISS, and Glass Lewis corporate terrorists for opposing the billionaire's $1 trillion pay package. Elsewhere, Black sees the new package as receiving overwhelming approval from Tesla investors at the shareholder meeting in November, with over 70 to 75% of investors in the company being in favor of the pay package. This makes sense to me. If I was a long-term Tesla holder and one of the big things for me was Elon Musk hitting these crazy milestones, the fact he's not taking a salary and his entire pay package is based off performance, yeah, that's going to be a good thing for me too. So let me know what you think here on Tesla. Does Tesla bounce today? Let's just make it easy. Does Tesla bounce today? Do we see a trade up here, or do we maybe see it move lower? Market here kind of flashing some weakness ahead of the opening bell. We're not quite down to yesterday's intraday lows, but maybe it sells off and tests that area again, and perhaps it takes Tesla with it. If any of you have new short-term trades on Tesla, I'd like to hear them. We will definitely be taking a look at that here today. Now, the other big piece of news that I'm sure has everybody roiled The Trump administration is reportedly exploring taking stakes in quantum computing companies like IonQ, Rigetti Spaghetti, and D-Wave. Oh man, when I saw this news, I had been lamenting that I had sold RGTZ a little too early, grading myself. I actually gave myself a C- on that trade, despite making money on it. But I guess now I kind of glad I am. I think that this might actually set up for more trades here on both sides, frankly. I expect to see a little bit more volatility here today. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what you guys think of these as trades here. The Donald Trump administration is reportedly in talks with several U.S. quantum computing companies to take ownership stakes in exchange for federal funding. Companies including IonQ, Rigetti, RGTI, and D-Wave Quantum, ticker QBTS, are discussing agreements with the U.S. government that could see Washington become a shareholder in exchange for financial support. That was reported by the Wall Street Journal, citing people familiar with the matter. Funding awards are expected to start at $10 million each. Other firms, such as Quantum Computing, which is QUBT, and Atom Computing, are reportedly considering similar arrangements. U.S. Deputy Commerce Secretary Paul DeBar, a former quantum computing executive and Energy Department official, is spearheading the discussions. The White House did not immediately respond to Benzinga's request for comments, but I can assure you, if we get updates on this story, given how much and how active we are with this, we're absolutely going to continue to talk about this. Earlier this year, the Trump government agreed to acquire nearly a 10% stake in chipmaker Intel by converting nearly $9 billion into previously awarded grants into equity. Later in the month, MP Materials announced public-private partnerships with the U.S. Department of Defense to strengthen America's supply of critical rare earth materials. As part of the deal, the Department of Defense gained a stake of roughly 15% in MP Materials shares, potentially making it the company's largest shareholder. Easy for me to say. Good Lord. MP Materials runs the U.S.'s only fully integrated rare earth mining and processing facility. Now, the big debate here, quantum computing moves closer to reality. Do we agree? Do we disagree? Earlier this year, Microsoft unveiled a new chip demonstrating the practical quantum computing may arrive in years rather than decades. Alphabet's Google and IBM have also indicated that breakthroughs in the field are accelerating. We also got news yesterday of a advancement in Google's Willow quantum chip that roiled these markets as well. So a lot of really interesting stuff here. Cannot wait to see how this stuff trades here today. Taking a look at Rigetti, it's broke 40 here in the pre-market again. Looks like it's holding 38 as its pre-market low, currently in a 39 handle. Get ready for some more fireworks here today. All right, let me go back to Pro here. We are going to start our Futures Forward segment here today. We're going to go ahead and bring on David Green to start. All right, David, good morning and happy Thursday. How you doing here today?
Doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Look, I'm really excited because we actually have a lot of stuff to talk about since we were together last. I know that the last time we were here, you had a gold trade, I think, that you had put on in the pre-market and then closed fairly early. Well, now we've actually seen a pull down in gold, which I think is really interesting. We've got more news about quantum stuff. Here, come on, producer. We've got more news about quantum stuff going on. And we have maybe a potential China trade deal. Market's still up near all-time highs. Give me the layout. What are you seeing out there across all of these markets?
Yeah, well, gold, if you remember last week, and I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, just was at unsustainable levels. We talked about this being stretched out on a daily chart, a weekly chart, and a monthly chart. And I think it was last Friday or so, we did put some shorts on in gold. And the way we did that was buying the ETF dust, which goes the opposite direction of gold. So when gold is going up, this is going down. And we tweeted out into all our room members and everything. We bought this at 9. I think we added a little bit at 8.50 that day, and we wrote it up to like $12. So we were able to take advantage. We made like 30% on the trade in a couple of days in gold on that beautiful pullback that we had. Right now, I'm looking at a daily level in gold. I was hoping we got down to this 39.80 level. If we got down, if and when we do get down to that 39.80 level, I will be a buyer of gold. We're a bit above that now. So it has been, I have to tell you though, it has been the best trading vehicle as far as futures are concerned over the last month or so. We usually look at the ESs, which is the S&P 500 index, and it has not been doing much of anything, especially intraday. So gold has been our main focus. We have a couple of orders out right now in gold down at 4104, which is our pivot point. If we spike down 12 points from here, so we're keeping an eye on that. We got a little out in the S&P 500 futures down at our previous week close at 67.11. We are about 14 points away from that. So those are the two things that we're looking at now. Those are the orders that I have out right now. So those are our concentration this morning, the gold and the S&P 500 futures. Tomorrow, right, we got news coming out, governmental news for the first time in a few weeks. So I think tomorrow morning is going to be absolutely crazy as far as trading is concerned.
Okay.
We have like 10 things coming out tomorrow. Let's see what we got. We got the CPI. We got the manufacturing PMI. We got Michigan consumer sentiment. So as far as day trading is concerned, for tomorrow, we're going to be on our hands for the first, couple of hours of the day.
Okay. You got any thoughts on some of these individual names? Like, I guess we'll start with Tesla, with that being probably the biggest earnings report of yesterday. You got any levels that you're looking for here on Tesla?
Well, I have to tell you, last night, and we were trading this after hours, and it did set up for an absolutely perfect trade. When I see, and yesterday, this is what I saw, and I don't know where Tesla's going to end up today, tomorrow, next week, who knows? But what I was seeing on all the feeds and everything, there wasn't anybody who wasn't bullish about Tesla going into this print. Calls, love it, going to be much higher than this. Obviously, we see that it hasn't done that, and it's down a bit today. But if we go back to last night when the earnings were announced, okay, we had a level from the previous week low. Check this out, guys and girls. Our previous week low was $417.86. And if you look at the low that it made last night, it was $417.24. So we broke that previous week low by less than 60 cents. And that's where we got the gigantic bounce up from. So we were around last night. We were trading this after earnings. We bought a little bit down here when we hit that level. Of course, we had a stop order if we were wrong, but it was a big level on a chart from a previous week low. And, obviously we bounced like 10 or 15 points from there. Now we're kind of sitting in nowhere's land, right? We're trading at $422. I might look for the double bottom down there in that level. Shorts would be up around 400. And I don't like shorting Tesla. I've never made money shorting Tesla.
Yeah, I was going to say I totally get it. Totally get it.
But the first resistance is up around $426. Then our previous day low is around $429. Little longer view. We'll go out to our daily chart. 421 could be a little interesting area, although we broke that last night. 390 is my next real spot on my daily chart. So that's something I'll definitely write down to look at, 390. Let's go weekly. See where we are, support and resistance on our weekly chart. Here we go. 409.25 is weekly. So if we start bopping down from here, that would be the first spot that I look at, right around, let's call it 410, 409.50. If we spike down significantly from here. So what I'll do is we'll slap a little marker out there in Tesla. Put a little marker out at the 410 level. I mean, it's down 12 points from here. Easily can do that off the opening. So, but what I'll do is I will just put a marker out. I'll mark it pre-market. I don't want to commit to buying 200, 300, 500 shares there. But if we spike down to that level, 410, we take a look. If it looks like it's going to hold that, we grab a couple of hundred shares with a stop. That's really the next big level on the chart. And then 390 below that. So that's definitely going to be one of our focuses today, in addition to all the futures and stuff that we're looking at.
Okay, awesome. Word of note there. We do have the 50-day moving average at 395 ahead of that 390
There we
area that you
go.
have, and we also have a gap fill that fills the gap from the Friday, September 12th candle. That's also down pretty much right at the same area, about 396. So it
Well,
looks like it got a 50-cent area there from the 50-day moving average to the gap fill area. That might be some pretty good support.
yeah, and
Um,
for a trade, maybe you start a little at the 395 small, you add at 390 and see what happens from there.
Okay. Now, on the flip side, if this thing all of a sudden shows some strength here and takes out its pre-market highs, or maybe gets back to where it closed yesterday prior to the report, are you looking for an upside trade on
Yeah,
that at all?
yeah. My first level that I think we have to get above would be right about here. What are we looking at? Let's call it 424,
Okay.
right? If we can get some momentum above that 424 level, that would be the first spot that I would look to jump in for a day trade. And we could have a stop down at the low that it just made, 421, like a couple of bucks on that. So that would be my first level
Okay.
that we have to get above. Then the next resistance above that would be 426. That gives us $3. The next resistance above that would be 429. I think, what's up, Big Base? This is going to be extremely volatile today. So what I tell all my peeps, if you're trading this, is cut your size, right? If you're a 100-share trader, trade 50 shares. Give it a little more room, and have the same amount of risk on every single trade that you do. If you're risking $200 on a trade, cut your size and risk your $200. But I think this is going to be all over the place this morning. So
Yeah,
certainly will be the one.
I completely agree with you. I think you're going to have moves in both directions on this here today. We'll see if that ends up panning out. Okay, the next big story that I think we have is revolving around some of these quantum names.
Yep.
Of course, now there's talk of maybe taking a stake here in some of these quantum names. So what do you think about that? I mean, we talked about Rigetti last time. I know
Yep.
this group did a really, really great job trading the RGTZ, the new inverse 2x levered ETF, which is really great for trading downside action without exposing yourself short to some of these massive runners. What do you think here amongst the entire group? It's not just Rigetti, it's some of the other stocks moving as well.
Yeah, and when they announced this last night, that was clearly a buy the rumor, quote unquote, nothing's even happened yet, and sell the news. All these things spiked up to Okla, Rigetti, QBTS, spiked up last night. This thing traded as high as $45 last night, right? The RGTI. 9 out of 10 times when you see this news first comes out and you get these big giant moves up, it's a fadeable event. 9 out of 10 times, right? So where are we now? Rigetti was sitting at like 38.80.
Yep.
Previous day close is down around 36. That would probably be my first point of interest, down around 36 if we spike down to that level. And then our previous day low is down around $34. So those would be the levels I would looking at. I'll put a couple of markers out, 36 and 34. These things have become, as you know, really good day trading instruments too.
They sure have. And that's why I wanted to ask about it really quickly. I just want to add to one of the things that you said here. Let me share my screen real quick.
Sure.
We were talking about Rigetti's support area yesterday, and we had outlined literally an area here about 27 and a half right up to 34. The level that you just mentioned right there. There was a little bit of consolidation here. This was also a breakout area. So we're kind of waiting for this to fall back into this area. It's also worth noting that the 50-day moving average is right at the bottom end of this range. So I like this area a lot, David. I mean, we'll see. I don't know which direction this is going to go here today. Like Tesla, I think we can actually get some action in both directions here today. We'll be able to use some of those ETFs to trade it. But those spots that you just gave, those sound exactly right to me. I will absolutely be looking for those here today. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about, how about some of the other quantum stocks? Yeah, like IONQ. I know we've spent a lot of time trading Rigetti, but there are other names out there. Do you see opportunity in those?
Yeah, let's look at IONQ. I have my Rigetti chart up, and I will be a swing trader in this. It's very close to your level. My 65 EMA is right around $29, right?
Yep.
That would be cut in half, okay, from $58 to $29, and a huge support level down there. And this is something that you can definitely do with options. The premiums are going to be high, but if we get down to like $29, I would be looking to buy like a 35 or a 40 call, give it like a week or two out. And I definitely start buying some stock at those levels. So hopefully we see those levels. The thing about what I'm looking for, what I'm doing, especially a day trade or a swing trade, a longer term trade, I am going to wait for those daily levels, those levels that you pointed out. Those are going to be the spots that I'm looking at. IONQ. What was the one? IONQ. Was that
Yep.
another one? All right. Yeah, same thing. Same thing. Had this big giant pop last night. Spiked all the way down now. Sitting on our previous day high at 59.35. Previous day close is down to 55.45. That would definitely be an area of interest for me. If we go daily, all right. So we broke our 65 EMA. That was about $57. Did we recapture that? I think we did, right? Yeah, we recaptured that. So if we get to $57 again, that would be a spot that I would look. See if we can hold the 65 EMA. We spiked below it yesterday. We got all the way down to $52. Obviously, $43 would be my 200 EMA. That would be a nice swing trade for me again in that. So I think we'll concentrate on the RGTI. That's nice. It's not too expensive. Nice $35 stock. We'll look for some day trading setups in that. And the breakout to me, again, in this one, not that far from here. If we get above this 39, 39, 40 level, maybe we can start heading up to these pre-market levels again.
Okay, let's take a look at one more here in the same theme. Let's take a look at QBTS. This is a very similar price to Rigetti. So perhaps this would also make a sufficient target here today.
Yeah, let's check it out again. Spiked up to $35 last night. All right, so we're sitting in, this is really tight right now, right?
Yep.
So we have a 65 EMA. We have a VWAP at 31.30. So I would be looking for a breakout again above 31 to 31.30, and then see if we can start getting back to those highs again. Previous day close is down at $27. Definitely be interested in buying it down there. And again, same thing on our daily chart. Look at this one, 25, right? 25 would be a level where I start to swing trade this one too. So what I can do here, I'll just put an alert in. Create alert. We want to be at or above, and I'll go like 25.50, a little bit above the target that we want it to get to. At or above 25.50, we will create, there's my marker. If it gets down to that 25.50 level, I will be a swing trader in that. So I'd like to see these things pull back a little more. The news last night definitely stopped a little of the downward momentum in these things. But already they've given back a little of the gains that they've had overnight. So.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with our viewer, Jay Rice here, who says, Quantum, in my opinion, the pops get faded. You've already seen that happening since last night. Jay, I completely agree with this. I think until we have evidence of something else, this is the way that we should really look at it.
And look at all these things on a daily chart, right? I mean, one of the things that we look for on a daily chart is when we get overbought to an 80 RSI and we have something that's up 3 days in a row. So if we look at I'm gonna bet every chart look like this, no matter which one we look at.
Yeah,
right?
No, you're right.
But if we look at QBTS, here's day one, here's day two, here's day three, and here we just tickled the 80 RSI. That is a swing short opportunity. When I see something like that, it's way overbought. It gave us those 3 days in a row on the upside, tickled that 80 RSI, and I am telling you guys, probably about a 90% trade when I see something like this happen. I will do it with options, and I'll tell you why, because stocks can keep going up in your face and blow up your accounts.
Yep.
But when we get up to like $46, $47, look for a little 40 put. And if I'm going to do a put, I will do a weekly. So if this happened on a Friday, I'm going to go out to the next week, buy that 40 put for whatever the premium is, and just sit back. You would have, major home run on that. Let's look at Rigetti. It's probably the same chart. There you go. Same exact chart. Every single one of these things did the same thing. Okla.
Yep. And that's what I was going to ask you next. This is a perfect segue. Let's talk about some of those nuclear ones as well. Oklo, probably the most popular.
Going to be the same chart. It's the same exact chart. Every single one of these is the same exact chart. Okla, 107 would be my spot. That's our 65 EMA. If we go back to 107, you're talking down, 45%. If it could get there. Again, I would only do these things with options. Where are we now? We're not that far away from 107. We're a blink away, right? And that is our daily 65 EMA. Again, if we got down to 107, I'd buy some, 115, 120 calls, give it a week, and see how those things work out. So that's another one. If we get down to the 107 level, I'll leave a little marker out there just in case.
Okay, good stuff there, Tom. I hope that answers your question. A couple of comments to clean up here real quick. Jay Rice saying it was 10 million. It doesn't make sense that the market caps went up billions overnight. Jay, this is true. The semantics that I would argue with you here is that the funding awards are expected to start at 10 million, so they can actually be higher than that. But regardless, your point is still valid here. Companies' market caps went up billions of dollars off a grant that's not even $1 billion. I agree with you. Does not make a whole lot of sense. Also, Lion here saying, Ryan, if you bought the dip on Quantum a couple of days ago, you'd be sitting on huge gains now. Yeah, no kidding. If you're planning on buying today, be careful. No, I'm not. What I'm looking for here today, mostly for, first of all, the only trades that I'm looking for here on Quantum are short-term trades, so I'll be flat by the end of the day. But the other aspect of that, I'm actually thinking that this pop or any subsequent pops actually represent short entry to some of the inverse ETFs. That's what I'm kind of looking for myself here. David, I know you were just talking about possibly swinging if we get to a certain level. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But no, for the trades here, I'm looking for opportunities to re-enter RGTZ. I've had some success with that since we started it. And frankly, I want to do better than the C- grade I gave myself on the first one. So no, I am not looking to buy this to the long side. Not today. I'm not. I think Quantum is still ahead of itself, even if
What
they
is
take these stakes.
the ETF again, Ryan?
RGTX. RGTZ is the 2X
okay.
inverse Rigetti ETF.
Love it. Yeah. Nice, cheap, $15. I mean, this traded down at $12 last night. That's insane. Let's look at a daily on this bad boy. These things are fairly new, but certainly I like it if we get back down to that. Yeah, 1127 is the previous week low. I start accumulating if we get it down to that range.
Okay.
1125, 1130. I will start accumulating that one. First swing trade also.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I would be interested in swinging. I would swing those ETFs. 13 here closed RGTZ yesterday at 20. 13 got an A on that trade. I got a C-. 13 got an A on that one. That was very, very well done. 13, the only follow-up question that I have for you here today, what level are you interested in re-adding RGTZ long? So where are you looking to buy that ETF for downside exposure today, if at all? Maybe you aren't, but really good trade there. And that's our first register ring of the day. Okay.
I wouldn't mind starting this again if we made a double bot. I mean, we actually, check this out, man. This morning, we got to $11.20, right? So that was almost exactly the previous week low. So that would have been a really good spot. I mean, it went below it by 7 cents. So there you go. I would definitely start accumulating that if we make a double bottom in this thing today. Matter of fact, let's put a little order out in that.
All right, let's check in with Peter ahead of the opening bell here and see what he's got going on. Peter, good morning. How you doing today?
Fantastic. How's everybody doing? Hi, Benzinga. What's up? What's up, Dave?
What's up, Pete?
Everybody?
Guys, we got just one sec, Pete. Gold is making a nice little run up here, guys. We have a little order out in gold at our double top from this morning at 41.52.90. All yours, Pete. Take her away. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
You got it. All right. So markets are looking at a little bit of a lighter opening. Obviously, everybody knows we had this massive reversal on gold yesterday. Look, everything that goes up must come down eventually, right? And it was probably a lot of margin call, a lot of liquidation. A lot of people who had bought it at the high just couldn't take the pain anymore. So it was a serious, surely a capitulation on that, and we're getting a bounce back on that. We're seeing a surge in oil this morning. Obviously, there's a lot of geopolitical stuff going on with Russia and the United States and sanctions there. Otherwise, the market is trying to get its footing. We are going to a little bit of the sell-off I saw yesterday and today, I think, is an anticipation of the fact that we've been in this sort of economic data blackout around the government being shut down. Okay, and a lot of this stuff is going to start to trickle out tomorrow, no matter what. If the government reopens tomorrow, which is what Besson, Trump's advisor, said is going to happen, or not, we actually are going to start getting some of the economic data. And as that happens, it's kind of like, running into a storm of of dying cats flying at you in your car. You don't know what's going to come. There's been a lot of this complete blackout over 3 weeks Normally we get economic data every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. And so we have a sense of what's going on. We're in the middle of a interest rate cutting cycle. That was the beginning we had. And then the market shut, and then the government shut down. So we did get 125 basis point cut, but we do have a meeting in October. What day is today? It's next Wednesday, actually. And so we really need to get a sense of what is the plan, what is the guidance going forward on interest rates, how is the economy doing, and that's going to start impacting the market. So as you can see, the market, high highs, and then a little bit of a pullback. The pullbacks have been super shallow, right there. We really haven't, besides that Friday sell-off when we went into a pissing war, excuse my language, with China over the rare earth minerals, and then a little bit of a midweek town tweet around beans and salad oil, with the Chinese. We had a pullback yesterday. I wouldn't even call it a pullback. It was a very shallow, red day. That's about all it is. And so there's lots of reasons for that. People are still underinvested in the market. There's still a lot of hedge funds with billions of dollars that need to be bought. They need to get allocations in there. And so, look, the market's trying to get its footing. We are waiting on a lot of economic data for tomorrow. That's why wait and see mode.
Just kind of looking at the SPY here yesterday, I agree. It wasn't really a sell-off per se. We basically just peaked below our 20-day moving average, and buyers stepped in, and we closed back above that. So to me, this is all, there's nothing crazy that really happened yesterday. This is just normal trading. Let me put you on the spot, though, Peter. What's your gut tell you? What happens next week?
Say it again, buddy. I lost you.
That's okay. I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think happens with the Fed meeting next week? What's your gut tell you?
I think my hope is that we get a nice shock and awe 50 basis point cut. To be perfectly honest, we'll probably get a 25er. We'll get one now. There are only 2 meetings left in the year. So as much as I would love to get 1 whole basis point by the end of the year, like we did, right? Last year, September, we got a 50 basis point cut and the 25s. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so my hope is we get a 50 basis point cut. A lot of it will really depend on this economic data that we've been blocked from. We haven't been able to see. We don't know what's going on, with a lot of the with PPI, CPI, a lot of the data around jobs numbers, and we don't. We had set the stage for an economy that was getting weaker, which is why Jay Powell pivoted at Jackson Hole in the first place, to set up this interest rate cutting cycle. But all we got was that 25 basis point cut, a little bit of guidance of maybe we're going to get 1 or 2 more till the end of the year, and then the government shut down and we've been driving blindly for a couple of weeks. So a lot really hinges on tomorrow's news that's going to come out about all these things that for the last 3 weeks we have been not getting. Right, jobs numbers and CPI and PPI and consumer expenditures and stuff, the state of the consumer. Since the shutdown, we did have that little bit of a scare around the regional banks. If everyone remembers last year, Silicon Valley Bank, one Midwestern bank started to fail, and it caused a little bit of a run on that. We saw an inkling of that, right, with a lot of defaults in the Midwest, these smaller banks when they started to show their earnings. Right, but we didn't see through on it. So a lot is going to happen tomorrow. We will know a lot more tomorrow about what the Fed's plan is. I'd love a 50 going in and then another 25 in December. But you know what? I'm not the boss.
Okay. Yeah, I totally feel that. We'll see what we get. I too think we're going to get a cut. David, how about you? What do you think is going to happen?
Same exact thing. I don't think it's going to be 50. I think it's going to be 25. And I think they'll say there's going to be at least another 1 or 2 before the end of the year. I think if they do a 50 point cut, it would be negative for the market. I think it would be a little shock and awe if that happens.
Okay. Well, we'll see what we end up getting. Real quick here, Johnny's asking, Ryan, please explain your strategy and understanding of using an inverse ETF versus a put option and why you use either. Okay, so first of all, with the inverse ETF, to me, it's just they're much easier to trade and hold. They're super liquid. I've never come across one of those ETFs that I haven't been able to get in and out of, no matter what the share size is, even if it's something small like 100 shares or even up to 1,000. So it's just much easier to do that. The reason that you would use options for that is so you can tie up less capital So what I would say, Johnny, is that if I'm looking for something maybe overnight, or if I'm looking for something for maybe a week, perhaps I would use options there. I would be able to define my risk ahead of time by purchasing those options, and I would tie up less capital for that particular trade. When I'm day trading or when I'm shorter term trading, I don't have that type of requirement. I can actually buy stock, use more of the capital as well as the day trading allotment that I have, and be in and out of that. So it really comes down to the plan, Johnny. That's how I would answer that. For me, it's easier to scalp stock than it is to scalp options. If I had a really strong directional thought, yeah, I would probably use the levered vehicle there and use options for that. But if I'm basically just playing this for a day or maybe just 2 days, probably just buy those ETFs instead. Do you have any thoughts on that, David? Are you pretty much do you ever buy the ETF itself? Are you an options guy? What do you think on that?
In something like the RGTX, I would buy stock. It's cheap enough. It's an $11 stock, so I would just buy stock in that. The stocks themselves, if I'm going to be trading them, I'll be an options guy.
Yeah,
because the stocks can keep going in one direction longer than you can stay solvent. It's binary. It's either something that's going to work, it's going to not. I know what I'm putting into it, and I know what my risk is.
Yeah, so I would say I'm unless I have a long-term view on that company, I would probably be on the exact same page as David there.
Yeah.
If I'm going to buy the company's stock, there's probably a plan to hold that for a specific amount of time. One of the other comments that we got here, Big Bear Hug saying your timing needs to be spot on if you use options. And indeed, you can buy an option at $3. Watch that thing trade down to $2 or even $1.50, and depending on what your risk parameters are, maybe you have a stop order set for that, and then have it come back and work. And your thesis was right the whole time. The price of the option contract just swung. Just seems to me it's a little bit easier to do that. And then the other thing is scaling in is always easier for me with stock than options.
No
scaling in and scaling out, to be quite honest.
100% on that.
Yeah.
And don't forget, before, and Ryan's the same way, before I get into any trade, it's got to hit one of my technical levels. So I'm not starting any of these things until it hits one of my technical levels.
Yeah, that's something that I've definitely tried to be more mechanical about, if you will. Really waiting until the level is actually touched and you get the entry signal. Really kind of setting that FOMO to the side, waiting for my plan to come to play there. So, good question though. Good stuff there, David. We've got 8 minutes here until I break down some of the movers. I did want to ask you about another stock here that the group has been all over. One of the most popular ones. What about Netflix? Netflix is literally sitting right now on its 200-day moving average. What do you think here let's broaden this out a little bit. Let's talk about a potential swing and a potential day trade. What do you think and what do you see with Netflix?
Yeah, my daily 200 EMA is at 1105. We are just about on that, right? We're at 1119. So my first level, I'd be looking to see it, and this will be both ways for me. Okay, if we hold this 1105 level and we get a bounce off that, great. If we break this 1105 level, okay, that's our 200 EMA on a daily chart. Let's go to our weekly. All right, we're kind of in nowhere's land. My next real support level is down 100 points from there at 1012, and let's just go to a monthly for the hell of it. Monthly was sitting right on. So this is interesting to me. On a monthly chart, guys and girls, we are exactly sitting on this trend line. Okay. The last time we broke this trend line, we were 910. We went down 100 points, right? So I am going to be using this 1105 level, okay, as a major pivot. If we can hold that, I think we get a little bounce. If I was day trading this, I would take a shot there at 1105, but have a very tight stop order. And then I would be more apt to be short down another 100 points from here because that is my next level. So what we're, like you just said, right, we're approaching some very, very big levels in this stock. So
you're not kidding. Now, I have a slightly different value for my 200, so maybe it's a little bit different for me. But David, we didn't have Netflix at its 200-day moving average. The last time it actually printed at the 200-day was October of 2023.
Yowza.
We had the test down here on Liberation Day where it came close, but on my chart, it didn't actually print it. It just, to me, this seems like a spot where in a perfect world, David, we would actually be a little bit weaker here today and then recapture that 200 tomorrow. To me, that would be awesome for a swing trade, even over the weekend. I generally don't add more risk on a Friday, but I would be interested in trying a little Netflix in that case.
Yeah, I mean, if we break below it and then can recapture, like you said, it's an options play. I can't afford to buy it. Not many of us can afford to buy this stock itself. But again, if we break below this, I might be looking for a put down $100 from there also. So let's we're at a gigantic, like you said, a gigantic level right now.
Yeah, it really is important. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Okay, awesome. Let me see. Peter's still in transit. He might have hit the tunnel there. Do you have anything else that you're kind of taking a look at? Maybe an update. I do see that the futures here for the S&P 500, they're bouncing a little bit here.
Yeah. Yep. So we made a low of about 67.20. Yeah, for the opening, we have a short out up on my strongest indicator, my 200 EMA. That is about 67.40. Let me pop out a couple of contracts in that up here. That is up 9. That is up 9 points from here. So if we spike up to 67.40, we are going to be a short seller for a trade in the ESs. That's the S&P 500 futures. Above that, we'll see if we can break out to new highs above that. For a trade, if we spike up another 9 points in the next 15 or 20 minutes, we are going to be short. Keep in mind, whenever I am looking for a trade setup, I want it to move as quickly as possible to one of my levels. If it meanders around and doesn't quite get to that level, or it takes a little longer, the odds of the trade working are reduced. So the faster something gets to one of our levels, and I don't care what we're trading, guys and girls, it could be stocks, futures, doesn't matter.
Absolutely. In fact, David, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I talk about this all the time, especially on some of those little stocks. If it's coming up to a level and it's kind of showing some indecision, probably not going to take that level out, at least not on the first attempt. That works on every time frame.
Yep. No matter what you're looking at. And the odds are just better if it moves quicker to one of our levels.
Agreed.
We're also looking at gold before you do your little update here. Gold has had a nice little breakout to the upside. We are looking at a double top in gold. Again, if it goes quickly, that is like 452.90. So we have an order out at 41.52 in gold if we spike up to that level. And those are the two things we're looking at futures-wise right now.
Okay. All right. Real good. Johnny says, Ryan, David, and all, thanks so much for the education on the inverse ETFs and put options. This group is awesome. You got that right, Johnny. Thanks for the question. As I've always said on this show, there is no such thing as a stupid question. We have people of all different experience levels, skill, and expertise levels. So I encourage questions like that when we get multiple people on here, especially a guest like David who doesn't join us every day. I would love for you to get a more well-rounded opinion about how that is so you can make the best decision for yourself. One more question that I wanted to ask you here. Again, the chat came out firing today, David. They are ready to go. This is something that we've been talking about for a long time. Seasonality is something I've really started to fold into my trading more here in 2025 and look to do again in 2026. Jay Rice, one of our longtime viewers here, seasonality, the last week of October tends to be weak before the November-December rally. Remember, folks, November is typically the best month for the market the entire year. We do kind of expect a positive last 2 months here, for November and December. The one thing that I've been thinking here, and I am totally on this page, Jay, I suspect that for today, tomorrow, and pretty much all of next week, we could very, very easily have weakness or choppiness as we wait for the calendar to turn over to November. Remember, in September, traditionally the market's weakest month, we really didn't see that seasonality. September was actually pretty good. And then once we got to October, it started to slow down a little bit here. Normally with that seasonality, the market bottoms in October before resuming to the upside in November and December. I think we might have just had that delayed a little bit. So I would be entirely unsurprised if next week was, as you said, weak or choppy. David, what do you think about that? You have any outlook on what next week might look like yet? Or are you just playing whatever hand you're dealt?
I'm going to leave that 1,000,000,000% up to you guys.
Okay.
I like dealing with what's put right in front of me, unless I'm in a swing trade and stuff.
Sure.
Then I'm absolutely going to pay attention to that stuff. But, I wake up every morning, open up my charts, start looking for technical levels, and put orders out. I have enough trouble worried about what's happening today. Never mind next week.
Okay, fair enough. All right, David, let me run down some of the movers here.
Absolutely.
Shouldn't take me more than 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll go ahead and get you back on there. All right, movers. Let's take a look at that here real quick. First one here is going to be VTYX, and it looks like 13's already helping us here today, which is awesome. VTYX, here it is. There was news on this, right? The trading higher after the company announced results from its phase 2 study. This came yesterday after hours here. Phase 2 trial for one of its drugs for obesity, cardiovascular risk factors, VTX 3232 monotherapy achieved an 80% reduction. So pretty good data here for this. This is driving the stock higher here, plus 94% here today. We take a look at the short interest on this one, 7.05% of the float shorted with 4.33 days to cover. Your 100-day average volume is very light there, 1.3 million shares. Today, we've already done 45.5 million. So look for that days to cover number to not be nearly as important today. Float on this one is about 63 million, just over 63 million here. And as 13 was outlining here, I'll go ahead and give you the visual aid here. This is on the 5-minute coming down to the 65 EMA. That is the blue line on my chart. That support is right at $7. 13 is right on. If that doesn't hold, the next support here is at 575 or the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. I have mine at 582, but it's right in that exact same area. Recapturing the VWAP with volume may result in $9 prints. So it looks like if we're able to really kind of get an upside move here in VTYX, got to make sure I get this ticker correct, because VKTX are there's a bunch of tickers that are similar to this. VTYX really need to kind of take out this double top in the pre-market. This is about 8.25 or so. If we do that, 9 sure looks like that is doable here. If we go to the daily chart, let's see what else we can take a look at from this daily chart. Here's your $9 level. Looks like this is kind of where this thing turned around back in 2024. There'd be another level here, maybe 11.5. And I'm not sure if what happened here, but there does look like there's maybe a gap fill up towards a 14 handle. So that's what you got here. VTYX. We'll see if this gives us one of our good movers here today. Lots of volume, lots of movement. I actually really like this, right? We had the impulse move yesterday. We have more volume here today. Actually set another high there, and we're still maintaining around the VWAP. I'm not sure what 13's exact VWAP is. Mine's 736. Our price is right above that. Next here is going to be SLMT. This is Barrera Holdings. I feel like we've traded this one before, have we not? SLMT. This popped yesterday in the after hours here. Let's see what we had here. Soulmate Infrastructure shares a business and operational update. So Soulmate Infrastructure provides an update on whether, on its validator operations, data center selection, merger and acquisition strategy, and a $300 million oversubscribed PIPE financing, and plans to file the registration statement for the PIPE investor shares by November 22nd. Soulmate Infrastructure, this used to be Barrera, right? Brea, B-R-E-A. I'm pretty sure that's the case here. Trading higher, and the company has selected its data center in-house to Bear Minerals in the UAE and pursue an M&A strategy to explore operations across the Solana value chain. So more stuff here for Solana. This trading higher here by about 44%. We've seen this stock rip before. Let me actually go back to a daily chart here. Yep, here was the super spike that we saw before. Keep in mind where we came from and where we are right now. Quick look at the short interest on this. Because of the ticker change, I don't actually have that. I'll have to go see if I can pull that or have our news desk update that. But SLMT, Barrera Holdings here. This actually might have a trade back towards the VWAP there. Trading into a symmetrical triangle here. Resistance at 13.15. Here's where that is on the chart. 13.15, basically your after hours high yesterday that stopped this thing the first time around 13. So there we go. Oh, and one more thing on the last stock. Thank you, 13, for looking into this one for me. VTYX burns 26 to 30 million in cash every quarter. There's at least 1 quarter in the bank and lots of short-term investments that can be converted to cash. So the chance of this doing an offering a little bit lower, but still kind of needs that. Next one here is iBio. And I know some of you folks were trading this earlier this week. We actually had 2 days here where this thing gave a trade. iBio to participate in the Guggenheim second annual Healthcare Innovation Conference. Let me see if I can grab what date that actually is. November 10th, Monday, November 10th at 8:30 in the morning. So mark that on your calendar. If you're going to trade this, we might get some more information about this name on that day. Market likes this. Stock's trading up 31% here today. It does look like $2 stopped it, and we came back into the after hours high from yesterday. We're just kind of holding there. I've got VWAP at 185 and the current price at 182. So we're right there. We'll see if we can recapture it and take it out. Quick look at the short interest on this one. 2.36% of the float shorted on 1.37 days to cover, has an average 100-day volume of 2.348 million shares. Today we've done 8.3 million shares. Float on this one is 20. Bob, thank you for confirming that for me. Brea changed the ticker to SLMT, which is why we had some of that out there. But that's what it is. Okay, makes a lot of sense. So we'll see here on iBio. This has actually given us some pretty good trades this week. It was a pretty good one yesterday. Really just kind of stayed above the VWAP and then actually bounced from the VWAP. So there you go. Next here, let's see. We have SGBX. Okay, so this is making some more moves. This is Safe and Green Holdings. I feel like we've traded this one a lot recently. Indeed, I think the last time here was Friday, October 17th, and then Friday, October 10th. So this looks like a Friday story here for sure. This did, and a subsidiary, Olenox Energy, tout reliability of mission-critical web services in collaborative partnership with global technology company OneCode. I spell that with a Q. That's cute. We did pop yesterday in the after hours again here today. 450 really kind of stopped it. The one thing that I do notice here, we actually made a higher low in the pre-market than we did yesterday. That's encouraging, but we really want to hold on to this 3 handle if we're going to make a move back to the VWAP there at 369. See if we're able to do that. Again, the 65 EMA that we've been talking a lot about on some of these plays here today, that is right there at 3. So we definitely want to hold that. It is worth noting that that 200 EMA is down there at 281. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to mention here, just because you guys brought it up, was going to be telomere. This is one that we've been watching recently. This had some more data here today. And 13, you gave some really good info on this one earlier that I wanted to throw on screen here. First of all, telomere pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company reported preclinical data from a mouse study evaluating telomere 1's impact on CASPS and GSTP1 genes. Now, you can see that did pop this stock to 180. Remember, we got other data on telomere at the beginning of the week here today. That popped it to 220. We came in and went lower. So do we do the same thing here today? Now, how good is this news? 13 here says, the news was nice, but I think that the IND submission is going to be the news that gives the bigger move, could even move on pre-IND meeting with the FDA. So while we have some good data here, this is one that we've discussed in the happy hour a little bit. I have a very small position that basically just forces me to watch the stock on a regular basis, and I respond when the stock has news and stuff like that. Nice data here today, not the big data that we are looking for. And thank you, 13. IND stands for investigational new drug there. I should have just said that. Sorry about that. Okay. AREB, this is on deck. This was a big mover yesterday. Looks like this is kind of on deck here today. I really want to see this take out the VWAP before we get anything. RBNE, this is Robin Energy. I can't remember if we've traded this one before. I get so confused with some of these energy names. I don't think I traded this one. We might have talked about it one day. This did pop a little bit in the after hours and gave up some of its gains here today. They did report earnings in the morning yesterday, and then this morning, a report results for the 3 months ended in September 30th. And the 9 months ended on September 30th, 2025. So this looks like just earnings here. Stock is higher by 36%. Quick look at the short interest on this. 5.9% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. Comes on an average volume of 1.81 million. Float on this is 11.3 million. Today, it's already traded 24 million. There isn't much else on the movers here. A lot of the other ones are the quantum names that we already kind of covered, and we're going to continue to look at here today. It also is worth mentioning that this NUAI, which has been a recent trader here, this did pull back a little bit from its $6 highs, but still, if you look at this, especially on a 15-minute chart, this is actually in a pretty good trend. This is up again here today in the pre-market by 13%. And then ELBM, remember, this was one of the crazy movers that we had. It's already round tripped the entire thing. It looks like it's teasing a move here today. I just wouldn't necessarily trust that. Okay, RBNE, there's a trend line that I missed there, 13. Let me go back and see. Oh, how did I miss this, 13? I'm actually a tad embarrassed. I appreciate that call out there. We're going to keep trying to 2% better every day. Here's the trend line that 13 is referencing that we need to break. You're spot on with that one. Okay, let's go ahead and bring David back on here. David, thanks for letting me run those down. Anything change for you? Any new trades?
Yes, we hit a beautiful trade in gold.
Let's do it. I'm actually going to step away for 1 sec, David. I'll be right back.
Not a problem. Yeah, we just hit a beautiful trade in gold, guys. Remember, we were talking about the double top that it made this morning. Okay, it was 41.52.50. We got to 41.52.60, and we pulled back 5 points from there. So one contract on the GC just yielded us $500. So good way to start our day. Hit that double top. Now what we're looking for in gold is a pullback. We are bidding all the way down on our 65 EMA, which is 41. Let's take a look. 41.2973. So we're going to come up a little bit on that. So guys, we made one trade. We made $500 on one contract. If you had a couple of contracts on that trade, you started your day making $1,000. That's why we want everybody to start trading futures. Okay, you can open up these accounts right now with Apex for $33. You can open up an account. Okay, and we walk you through the process of how to the rules you need to pass that account and start taking money from these guys. We had a webinar last night with 600 people in it, and I showed everybody all my Apex accounts. In the last 2 months, I am up $65,000. All these accounts started with an opening of $33. You have to pass a few milestones to start taking money from them. But it is an unbelievable way to start your trading career with as little as $33. And I can tell you this, guys and girls, documented 26 out of the last 27 days, we have made money trading futures. Our hit rate is about 76%. We're about 74% for the year. Everything we do is strictly based on technical analysis, and it has been a really, really good run for us trading futures. So it's something that if you're not doing, everybody should be looking into doing. It's just a great, affordable way to get into trading. It's not a big difference between trading futures and trading stocks, okay? Little different technical analysis that we use, but it's all still based on all our moving averages and our pivot points and Fibonacci's and all those things. And we actually teach you guys how to do all those things. We just launched our brand new 6.5 hours futures course last night. We'll talk more about it before we get out of here, but we've made it as affordable as possible for everybody, and it comes with lifetime mentorship. So we're looking at the gold. We'll see if I'd like to see a pullback in gold so that we can get long. This is something that looks like we can trend all day. And my next real resistance is up 25 points from here, our previous day high at 41.75. So I'd like to see a pullback early, try to get involved in one of these trends that pulls back and just kind of stay in that all day if we're going to keep rallying up like this. ESs, you can see, guys and girls, we got all the way up to our VWAP. We were offering it 67.40. We missed that by 5 points, but it hit our VWAP at 67.36 and went down 12 points from there. So let's put our short back out at 67.40 on our 200 EMA on the ESs. I have to tell you that probably about 80% of our futures trades in the last month or so have been in gold. And the reason for that is because we've had some unbelievably great volatility in gold. So that's been our concentration. And that's where we've been getting most of our trades from. We still do trade stocks every day. I'm going to be watching Tesla very carefully today. Yep. I'm going to be watching Netflix very carefully today to see if we get to any of those levels. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at Netflix now and see where we're at. Let me just get this order out, and the MES is for everybody.
And real quick, while you're doing that here, we did have some news. Thank you, Kathy, for mentioning this. Kathy, you've been real sharp on some of these alerts. China's Commerce Ministry on EU's Russia-related sanctions says it will take necessary measures to safeguard rights and interests, strongly opposes this, says the EU sanctions on Chinese firms violate consensus between leaders and damage trade relations. That came from Reuters, and that was that was actually a little bit ago. You also were mentioning that there's the China news suspending Russian oil buys. And then the other piece of news that we got while we were doing that rundown there, Russ, you were calling this SMCI just dumped. David, maybe we can take a look at that here in a sec. Here's the news on SMCI. They provided a first quarter of fiscal year 2026 business update. Their earnings are confirmed from 12 days from now. That is Tuesday, November 4th, after the market closes. But they gave you a little bit of an update here today. Secures $12 billion in new orders in Q2 of 2026 and says the design win upgrade pushed some expectations from Q1 2026 to Q2 of 2026. So you're getting a little bit of the guidance adjustment there. It looks like the market initially didn't really like that. The stock did sell off, but it's bouncing here. So, David, what do you think here on this action?
Look, check this out. All right. So we had a nice pivot point right around 47.20. And again, I'm not doing anything into this news, but just look at the technicals, right? We had a level of 47.20. It broke it by 30 cents. And went straight up $4. So whatever the news wants, it's over with now, obviously.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see where it goes from here. But the fact that it got down to an actual support level that we had, got below a 20 RSI. The RSI went to about 12 when we spiked all the way down here. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the day. It's definitely something we'll keep our eyes on. Let's look at our RGTI. So we got above this little, our little 65 EMA right around 40. So let's see if maybe we can build on that and start going towards the levels that we got to last night, something that we will keep an eye on. Wanted these things to pull in more. Let's look at Tesla. Okay, Tesla's bouncing. So we talked about Tesla getting above our 65 EMA, which was around 424. So we spiked above that a little bit. Next little resistance level is up at 426. So we'll keep an eye on Tesla, see if we can build on this little momentum maybe that we got going to the upside. And see if we can start spiking up towards higher levels here. That's something that we'll be watching this morning also. So I just have to tell you, with our gold trade, Ryan, if we can get one or even two, sometimes one of these decent trades where we pull 4 or 5 points out of a gold trade, that is a day for most of the people that are in my trading room. Like I said, one contract is $500 if you make 5 points. I'm looking to do that a couple of times a day, and then I am done trading for the day. Very, very important when you're day trading. For me, if I come at or near my goal, I am done trading for the day. Time is the most precious commodity in the world. We're not getting it back. Go and do something else. The worst thing we could do is sit here and turn a winning day into a losing day.
I was just going to say, David, I'm just going to steel man that here for a sec. I completely agree with you. I'll say that days where the market is down big, though, I view that as opportunity. Even if I have swings and long-term investments that are getting absolutely crushed, if the market's moving to the downside, I still view that as an opportunity. There's still stuff that can be done on that day. It's very easy to find relative strength on a day where the market is extremely weak. The worst, and obviously days where the market is up, everyone feels good, right? That goes without saying. The worst days in the world, no matter what the market is doing, is when you start with gains and then you give them back to the market, to Mr. Market. It is the absolute worst. It is what bothers me the worst. That's the type of stuff that I lose sleep over. I compare that to, like, if I own a company and I'm not sure that things are on the up and up there, that makes sleeping a little bit more difficult. What makes sleeping more difficult is when you had it and you were doing well, and then for whatever reason, boredom, greed, distractions, whatever it is, you end up giving that back. It's the absolute worst thing in the world. Your advice of making your money for the day and walking away is good. Here on our show, we congratulate people that have discipline like that. Keep the money in your pocket. Don't give it back.
Yeah, and when it happens, and guys, this has happened to me. It has happened to everybody. It's going to happen to you, right? It's going to happen. You do that on a Friday, it ruins your entire weekend.
You got that right. Oh my God, you're absolutely
weekend.
right.
And we're sitting here saying to ourselves, after we do this, how the F could I have just done that?
Jane says, I'm with you, Ryan and David. It's like, WTF did I just do?
Yep. Yeah. That's why I'm also, Pete, you back?
He's back.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. No, look, I love what you guys are talking about. Well, one of the things about trading that we try and talk about, and we just did it in our webinar last night, which was beautiful. We had 500-600 people. It was amazing.
Guys, anyone have a level on gold here on the upside?
I'll mute David.
Is the discipline? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just as the discipline, right? That there's 80% of people who try and day trade fail, right? That's just the bottom line. And so it's a really simple, the difference between those who fail. You would think it's a big deal. It's just a matter of discipline and consistency and following the rules, right? And there are people who do it consistently, who do it, with that discipline, and it makes a big difference. It's like taking profits when you can, and not doing all this. It's all anybody, as David always says, anybody can be taught to hit a button to get in and out. It's what you do when you get into the trade.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like being up $200 on a trade and then thinking it's going to the moon and not taking a profit when you can and going to get a coffee and come back and it's now suddenly it's a loser. Right. So, people always wonder why and they love to blame everybody else than themselves for these situations. They love, I'm blaming the market. He's out there, people have to accept responsibility for what they're doing, right? And then move on. If I'm blaming 100%. The market maker or this or the big whales, everybody's out to get me. I'm just a little guy. That's BS. That's not getting you anywhere.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And then Peter, I'm going to digress here for a little bit because I actually just randomly, because you're coming on our show now, and we're talking more about you. Just randomly, my YouTube algorithm pulled up a YouTube short. Did we lose Peter again? We might have a connection issue. There we go. Let me bring Peter back on. I got him. Yeah. I got you, Peter. I was just saying, I came across a YouTube short where some young individual got your attention outside of the stock exchange and was asking you about wealth and money and all of this. And you said one of your biggest pieces of advice to younger people is that they don't buy things and that they instead invest. And I got to say, Peter, I had a smile from ear to ear when I saw that, because this is something that I struggled with when I was younger that thankfully I was able to teach myself. Some of my friends, some of my colleagues, they don't learn this. And I just love seeing that there. So I know, we're talking about market dynamics and stuff like that here, but I'm a huge proponent of having people get on the investment train as early as possible. And when I saw you tell this young gentleman, stop buying things and instead take that money and invest it.
So the line is actually not my line. I learned it from a young market maker here on the floor named Fabian. He used to say, invest in stocks, not stuff. We're the greatest consumer.
Thank you.
Right. We're the greatest consumer generation in the world. We just love buying stuff. We've got closets full of stuff that the minute we buy them, they go down in value. And at the end of the day, there's that old line that, think about it. We always, if the Apple phone 15 comes out, and there's nothing wrong with our Apple phone 14, but we have to have the next thing. If people change their mindset and instead of buying that next phone, maybe they buy a couple shares of Apple stock. If they had done that in the beginning, they probably would have a nice portfolio in Apple like Dave does, as opposed to like a drawer with 15 old Apple phones in it. So it's just it's a mental state of creating a legacy and trying to create a portfolio as a bunch of as opposed to stuff. So that's one of the things when I speak to younger people about the markets. I can't tell them what to buy, but I can tell them that they don't need to buy things that the minute they buy it, they go down in value. There is a possibility if you were to buy things. Look, we love people like Nikes, people like Apple, people, the younger people they're very loyal, right? We are loyal consumers to things that we like. Now, every one of those things is actually a publicly traded company. So as if we sort of put on hold that urge to have the next thing, right? And maybe just think for a minute and then maybe invest in that company that we love so much that makes this thing that we got to have, then you know what? We're building something long-term as opposed to just having a dirty old pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
So.
Amen to that. Thank you for doing that. I know you have a much bigger footprint than myself, but that's something that I try to do all of the time. I really appreciate that. That's really good stuff.
But I wish I had known it because I got a closet full of stuff.
Me too. Me too. Exactly right. All right.
Yeah, that's great. I remember when I was first started working on the Florida New York Stock Exchange in 1985. I was a runner on the Florida Exchange. I think I was making about $165 a week. I think Pete was making like 170. He had me beat by like $5 when we first started down there. But at the end of the year, we used to get tips from the brokers. And one year of my tips, and I think I was only making like $13,000 a year, I got $15,000 in tips from all the brokers. And I took some of that money, and this is 1985, and I bought Apple.
Good for
I've
you.
been in and out of it over the last 40 years. You know, I sell it at times when it makes new highs, and I buy it back when it makes new lows. But yeah, that was my first investment. Guys, we are getting a huge rally in gold right now. We are spiking up. We have a little Fibonacci level, guys and girls, at 4168.40, which is up 7 points from here. So we got a little level up there. We probably get about 30 to 40% of all our trades based on Fibonacci's. You guys know what it is. It just measures retracement. Fibonacci levels, we teach you how to do that also. We're getting a little stretched out. We have a 74 RSI. My plan for gold today is to buy pullbacks because this thing looks, and we talked about it earlier, this looks like it's just going to trend up for the rest of the day. So hopefully we get a little pullback down to one of our moving averages where we can get long gold and just sit in it for the rest of the day. S&P futures are doing nothing, so our focus is solely going to be on gold this morning. I just noticed oil, all right? Oil's up $3 this morning. I was just going to ask Pete if you heard anything economically that's making oil go up this high. We just pulled back a little bit, but we were as high as 62.12 in oil. Guys, let's put a little order out on our 200 EMA in oil down at 60.61. It's down like 80 cents from here.
I think that's the news that Kathy was talking about earlier on China suspending Russian oil buys.
There we go. Beautiful. Well, that made a huge bounce up. So if we can pull back to our 200 EMA around 60.62, we'll take a little look in oil. Always in the morning, guys and girls, I am very conservative. You know, I'll do one contract, maybe two contracts, but we want to let things settle in and not get in trouble off the opening. So the opening is when we're going to do our least amount of futures contracts in anything that we do. Philippe, we still like the 68 in gold. I kind of still like that if we spike up there. We'll give it a couple more minutes. Then we got our previous day high in gold up at 50. What is that? 41.75. All these things that you see in our charts, guys and girls, all our moving averages, our previous day high, our previous day low. These are all things. Yeah, we're getting close to far from moving average also. That's why I like the 68.40 in gold. We're almost at an 80 RSI. All this stuff, guys, for anyone who buys any of our courses, it's one button. It automatically puts it all in your charts. Go ahead, Ron.
I was just going to say, we have a question here. I want to make sure I get it right so I don't give out wrong information. Sarko's asking, David, what time frame are you on that chart for gold? That's a 5-minute, right?
Correct. I am always starting on a 5-minute chart. If I have technical support and resistance based on a 5-minute chart, I don't have to go any further. If we're approaching levels where I have nothing above or below, then we will expand our time frame. I'll go to a 15-minute chart, a 30-minute chart, as far out as I have to find some kind of support or resistance.
Okay.
We're always starting on a 5-minute chart for our day trades.
Okay. Excellent. There you go, Sarko. And we are, less than 3 minutes to open here. Casino opens 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
I love it. All right, gold is spiking up now, guys and
So
girls.
is Netflix, David. It's moving right away from that 200 we talked about. It's not even waiting for the market to open.
There we go. Just spiked up. Wow, look at it now. Just spiked up almost 8 points, 9 points. Holy mackerel. So we got a little resistance up at 1134. That is a pivot point. But we basically held, so far, we held on to those gigantic levels that we were talking about earlier this morning. Yeah, if we don't get the spike up in gold, guys, in the next minute or two, we will just cancel. We'll go a little higher. We just got to 66. So we missed our gold trade by 2.25 points. If we would have just spiked up to that 68.40, we already would have had a 5-point pullback. So let's cancel that for now. And we'll be conservative. Let's go up to our previous day high at 41.75. Let's see if we spike all the way up there. That is our previous day high, and that'll definitely give us a far from moving So 41.75 it is for gold. Take a little chill pill, relax. Again, guys and girls, the opening is when I'm going to be the least aggressive that I will be at any other time during the day. We let things open, we let things settle in, relax a little bit. There is no hurry, there is no FOMO. That is the worst thing that you can possibly do, especially early in the morning.
Yeah. Real quick here, Izzy, Ryan, VKTX thoughts. Izzy, I'm gonna answer your question seriously here, but I'm almost wondering if you're trying to trap me by asking me about VKTX, the real stock, versus the mover VTYX, which I'm sure I'm gonna screw up at least once here someday. A couple of things on VKTX. We did have an upgrade here. Morgan Stanley moving their price target. I beg your pardon, it's not an upgrade. Morgan Stanley moving their price target from 98 to 102. Viking reported earnings yesterday and provides a corporate update there. Viking gains a buy rating and then also EPS of an 81-cent loss. That was versus the 72-cent loss estimate. Stock's up by 13% here, Izzy. My main thought, and David, I'd like to get your opinion on this too. My main thought is we're actually right at a resistance area. This 36 handle does look like it's a little bit of resistance here. I've got the next spot above that at about 42 if we're able to clear that off. So we'll watch that today. Let's see if we take out 36 and have some strength. Market is open. Here we go.
And 36.80 is a little resistance in that VKTX. 36.80.
There you go. There you go, Izzy. All right. Casino is open. Let's see what we got here today.
All right. The S&P 500 futures spiked. We didn't have any orders out. We wanted to see that set up. What you see on our charts right now, guys, is my 5-minute opening range breakout with a 5-minute orb. What we're looking for in this is if we can break above the top of the orb or below the bottom of the orb, long or short. So we'll keep an eye on the 5-minute orb. Gold has pulled back a little bit. We have a fib at 67.48 in the MESs. Let's put that up. I'll show you guys gold. It would have been a beautiful level if we can get it. Would have got up to our 68 level. Let's put this out, 67.48. Let's pop that out there. Okay, let's go to gold. So gold, we were looking at that 68 and change level. It got to 66, never quite get there. Getting a little pullback in gold now. We're going to come up to 41.39 to try to get long this gold on a decent pullback. Again, I'm looking for gold to trend today, hopefully all day. So let's get an order out, 41.39.10 if we can get a pullback to one of our moving averages.
And really quickly here, SPY did trade up out of the open, but kind of pulled a little bit. Netflix pulled back from that opening spike that we looked at right ahead of the open. One of our movers here, VTYX, the other one flirting with its VWAP right now. We'll see if that breaks and goes lower here. One of the other movers that we were taking a look at here, AREB, right out of the open. That actually gave you a bit of a head fake there. That was a little bit nasty on AREB. Looks like it went higher there initially and then pulled. But the good news here, so far on this pull, we've held the pre-market low and held that 65 EMA. 260 is that spot of note. We'll see if we get rolling here in AREB. And as a reminder, we have a trend line that we're looking to break here. Might send this thing above 3 if we have the strength to do that.
You know what? I was looking at that VYTX also. I got confused. It's up 84%, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, that's another one that had like weight loss drugs stuff going on. They had trading higher. They excuse me, man. They announced results from its phase 2 study in participants with obesity and cardiovascular risk factors. That's what I was joking about, David. It's kind of similar to VKTX. The ticker is one letter different. I am sure I'm going to make a mistake at some point. That's just how it goes.
No question about it. Let's check out our Netflix, see what we're doing here.
By the way, real quick, sorry, David, I got to mention here, we popped above that VWAP on AREB right to the trend line. Look where the stock stopped, folks. Look where the stock stopped. Let's see what happens here if we can get above this trend line. If we do, we probably have 3.25 as our next level there. That's AREB. Here we go. Here we go. All right, David, sorry about that.
It's all good. All right.
Nice little scalp right out the open there.
Getting a nice little pullback in gold here. So our trend line is 44, and then we have our 39.90, which is our 30 EMA. So let's see if we can get a little bit more of a pullback here in gold.
13. There's one trade. Indeed, I hit that one too. This actually might set up again. Watch for a back test of that trend line. We've actually seen that with several of these little movers. 310 now on AREB. Maybe we get a little bit more here.
What is it? What's the symbol, right?
AREB, American Rebel Holdings. Here we go. 320. Wow. There's a bigger pop. More. I would definitely trim into this move higher here for a day trade. Nice move there. Crow, register ring. 13, register ring. I'll give one for myself, although I generally don't do that. 350 now. Right to the after hours high from yesterday is another resistance area here.
Right.
Trend line still strong.
Yeah, right to the pivot point at 348.
Oh, that's great when we get a start like that. Tesla pulling right out of the open here. What was your downside level on Tesla again?
We are there, 411, I think it was. Yeah, 411.50.
Okay, Glenn says this 413.93 is a level to watch there. Okay, we're at levels here on Tesla. Awesome.
Yeah, we'll put a little marker out if we get down to, we'll call it 411.50.
Hey, boy, that was
nice.
Some good action off the open there. I'll take it.
I'm coming up. All right, so you see that your little ARAB pulled a little bit back off that pivot point. A little bit.
And just to be clear here, David, because I know we don't trade together often here, I'm all out this, right? This was just basically a scalp to the upside here. We had the entry identified, we had the points of resistance identified, and we had a trend line break that told us that the trade is working here. So whatever it does now, I'd actually love to see a back test of this, frankly, a back test of the trend line to give us some more entry, maybe that 315 level that we talked about too. So we'll see here, but that was a nice 1-for-1 to open the day here. Lion says he's short Tesla.
Okay. Where are we short Tesla?
Yeah, where are you short? I'm assuming it's right down here around 415. But Lion, let us know. And then that VTYX, that other one that kind of fooled both of us, David, that actually looks like it might be turning up here. We traded down to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute chart. We bounced, recaptured the VWAP. This looks like this is going to try and go higher. 13, guess what I'm going to do? Yeah, you guessed right. I'm going to pop that trend line right on that thing. Bang. Yeah, see if we get that.
725 was the 65 EMA. Nice 40-cent bounce. That's a big
yes,
move.
Sir.
That
yes, sir.
A big move.
By the way, sorry, AREB here pulling back to that 315. We'll see if it holds. David, I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. So we have now switched to our 15-minute orb. ESs look like they're trying to break out of the 15-minute orb. We still good at 48, Philippe, in the MESs. We still like that 48. If we get up there fast, please let me know. We're getting very close to that. Let me know if we like it. In the MESs, gold's kind of doing nothing right now, so we're chilling out in gold.
RGTZ looks like this is trading up off the pre-market low. Rigetti is rolling here. If Rigetti breaks 38 to the downside, you might have some more downside. And AREB pulled back, lost that 315 level, but it's trying to hold VWAP down here at 3.
Lotto EMA at 46 ES. All right, well, look, guys and girls, we just missed the 48. We got the 47.25, so let's wait. Not going to run in and do anything. We didn't quite get to where we wanted it to go. Gold is doing nothing. Russell's doing nothing. NQs are kind of flat. Gold 67.52 is a fib. Okay, let's take a look.
And then when you're done with gold, David,
go ahead. It's all yours.
I do want to ask you about Beyond Meat, ticker BYND. I knew you were going to laugh. Now, if you're upset with me for doing this, just humor me for a sec here. Do you trade this junk at all?
No.
Okay, so but do you look at the stocks or the levels or anything like that at all?
I feel sorry for the people. Let's put it this way. I guarantee you more people that got involved in this lost money than made money. That I guarantee you. It's not something I'm ever going to look to short because, your risk is unlimited if you're going to short it. I'll tell you what, I mean, at the prices it is at now, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to buy a little and put it away, $2.60, but I stay away from these things.
Okay, fair enough. It's just one that's been moving. It's been a short squeeze here. It is trading up a little bit here, so we'll see if this gets rolling. Gotta shout this one out. I don't do the crypto trading like some of our other viewers here, but day trader absolutely ripping a trade here. Closed to 34 times so long for 51% in 44 minutes. Day trader, that absolutely deserves a register ring. Good trade there.
Guys, if anyone did 48, and you might have got a little profit out of it, but to me, it looks like the ESs want to go higher here, guys and girls. Again, I would look for a pullback in that. We want to try and get long in the future. Everything looks good. Everything looks good. I mean, the overall markets look good. And
David, you better knock on wood again, baby. I heard you do that earlier. You better do it again after saying that.
It looks
everything
good right
looks
now.
Good. That famous last words right there.
Yeah, I mean, 5 minutes from now, everything might look bad. But at the moment, everything seems to be trending up at the moment. So, again, subject to change at any time.
Absolutely. Good morning, Tenzin. Looks like your Apple was rejected at 260. Hasn't taken out the pre-market lows, though, on Apple. Tenzin, you've been absolutely crushing Apple recently. Let me know if you have another trade.
Apple, own Apple.
That's what I'm into. So, David, I'm glad that you said that, because we talk a lot about Jim Cramer around here. One of the things that he's been saying for years is don't trade Apple, own it. And I completely agree with him on that. I have Apple stock that I bought back in 2014 that I am just holding on to as long as Apple still is one of the strongest companies in the market. I'm going to keep holding on to that one. I will say I do like to trade options around a core position sometimes.
I'll sell premium at times also.
Okay.
Absolutely. Great way to just collect income. Called the wheel strategy. Look at this QBTZ, guys. Holy mackerel. It's down 40%. Isn't this one of these things too? The short QBST? Whatever.
Yeah, the QBTZ is the 2x short QBTF ETF. So QBTS, sorry, I think I said F there. QBTS must be ripping if this thing is going lower. Let me check it out here. QBTS.
Yeah, it went up to 32 and change.
Yeah, QBTS is up nearly 19% here.
There you go. So
and by the way, sorry, really quick here, Yassine, you get a register ring for closing your short on Tesla. That was what, 430 to 417? Nice short there, buddy.
So this QBTC is something I might be interested in a little bit. I mean, it's down at $12, traded as high as $23. If I wanted to be short that other one, this is the way I'd be doing it with this thing, QBTZ. All right, ESs. Now we have our 15-minute Orban. It is doing absolutely nothing. What are we canceling, guys? ESs, MESs, gold is doing nothing.
Tesla bounced off 414 real good there, dude.
Oh, my God, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Right off 414, 421. Resistance at 423. I'd probably short a little if we get up to 423 for a trade. Definitely 426 if we get up to that level. You're in at 67.52 vision. What, the ESs? 67.52. All right, we'll pop it out small.
And you guys that are asking about AREB here, here's what it looks like. So we did come back in. We are staying above the VWAP here and holding the trend line. So possible reload spot here. I can't tell you if this is going to go higher or not, but based on what the chart looks like here, this is definitely a possible reload spot here. I would use your own risk parameters here, right? Set a stop in case this doesn't work. It does look like we're bouncing here. 302 is the VWAP that I have. The trend line here is actually at 296. Does look like that's going to be your area of support.
Excellent. All right, we'll give the ESs a couple more minutes here. Futures wise, guys, it is a very slow morning. We had one trade in gold pre-market, which is okay. And everything is kind of just slowing down a little bit.
David, you were asking earlier about the oil here. EKS giving us another news update here. Kuwait's oil minister says, quote, OPEC is ready to offset any shortage in the market by rolling back output cuts.
There you go. Boom chakalaka. So if we look at Tesla, guys and girls, we rallied up exactly to our the level that we were talking about, 423. It hit our 30 EMA and has just pulled back $3 from there. So there's your technical analysis, hitting the 30 EMA, just pulled back $3. So maybe I would look for a double bottom in Tesla now if we're going to pull it back. But I still love that 411.50 area if we could have a pullback there. Gold bouncing up a little bit again. Some no trades in gold going on. Kind of just hang. Hey, you know what, Ryan? You know what we can do?
Giveaway accounts?
Yeah, let's pick 5 names, giveaway accounts. Just post the wsgta.com@gmail.com. Anyone who Ryan picks, send an email to that address, and you'll get a free Apex futures trading account of any size that you want. wsgta.com@gmail.com.
Producer, if you could throw those up here on the screen, we'll go ahead and give those accounts away.
Yeah, just send an email to that address, and we will send you a free Apex futures trading.
Here you go. I'll throw this on screen. Thank you, producer. Let me get some ones in the chat. We're picking 5 winners, 5 free accounts. Thank David Green and Peter for the giveaway here. I'm going to go ahead and wait till these ones fill up, and then I'll go ahead and select 5 of them. I'm going to try and do it as random as I can. And folks, look, if you won the other day, let's let some other folks win here. Let's try to spread the wealth around. David's kind enough to give these accounts away. Let's make sure we spread them around. Okay, we got a bunch of ones here. Here we go, David. I'm randomizing my chat here and clicking on one. Okay, I picked a tough name to pronounce here. I'm going to give it a shot, though. Atai Lewin. Let me know if I got that right. You are a winner. You are a winner. Be sure to email.
This pop fish.
Say again?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and select another one here. Randomizing it. Fergus Dingman. Dingnan. Sorry, I screwed that up, Fergus. I apologize. But you're a winner. Good news here. Be sure to send an email there, and we'll go ahead and get you hooked up with that free account. I'm going to randomize it again. Next, Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond. Indeed, take that account to infinity and beyond. You are our 3rd winner here today. Congrats. Randomizing it again. Thank you guys for continuing to pump ones in here. Bang. Next one, Zane Anderson. You are our 4th winner here today. And don't worry, folks. I'll put those emails back up on the screen here in just a sec. Let me select one more winner. Let me select one more winner here real quick. Bang. Veggie Girl. Veggie Girl. You are also a winner here today. There are your 5 accounts.
Took too long to get there, Vish. Beautiful. Excellent, guys and girls. Love it, love it, love it. So send an email to that account, and you guys will be all straightened out.
And those accounts, those email addresses, on the screen for you.
Boom chakalaka.
All right, David, thanks for giving out some more accounts here. Appreciate that.
Guys and girls. So we just had a nice breakout of our 15-minute orb in the ESs. That was above 67.52, and it gave a nice 5-point profit in that one. So, Vish, that's what we should have been looking at, right? No question about it. Gold is not doing much of anything. Let's cancel that. Okay, go back to gold. Gold is dead. Hit the top of the orb again, not doing much of anything at all.
BYND, on the other hand, that's doing some stuff. This actually traded up to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Stop there. That value 343. Nice little pump there on Beyond Meat out of the open. I didn't take that one, not in it at all, but a nice little move up for those that are trading it.
I love it. So when you're trading these little stocks, Ryan, and maybe everybody else who is here with us, what kind of size are we trading in these things?
Yeah, so you asked me that. You asked me that last time. The way that I would say this is that a lot depends on the price. So if we're let's just use BIND as an example here, right? BYND, it's about a $3 stock here. Depending on how I feel about the market conditions, I'm probably looking anywhere between 1 and 2,000 shares per trade. And again, just so we're clear here, with a lot of these day trades, I know we see some of these that go on crazy runs and they get halted 90 times and they go up like crazy. That's luck if you catch that, in my opinion. Generally speaking, on an 1,000 share lot, I'm probably looking for about 15 cents to a quarter.
Beautiful. So put a couple $100 in a bank on every
Absolutely. And the other thing is that when I feel more confident about either the stock or the market conditions, I may up that, or I may buy initially 1,000 shares and then add a tranche of 500 and then 500 again. Generally, I don't want to go above 2,000. There has to be some specific conditions for me to have bigger size than that. I'm not throwing around 10, 15,000 shares on a day trade. Not yet, anyway.
I'm with you 100%. That's what I'm all about. Just put a little bit of money in the bank every single day.
Crow here is one of our other big. Crow says at that price, he's buying 100,000 shares.
I love it.
It must be nice, Crow. No wonder you drink beer every day.
I mean, everybody has their own risk parameters. That's what it is. the way you execute your trade should not change no matter what size you're doing. Whether you're doing 100 shares or 10,000 shares, you should have the same stop orders and the same profit targets. It shouldn't matter how many shares you trade. That has nothing to do with it.
By the way, Arab here, your second trade is done. Well, maybe not done, but in progress right here. Remember, you guys were just asking, is this a load spot down here around 3? Indeed, here we are running away. We haven't hit that 350 resistance yet. That would definitely be one of those sell targets. And on a second trade like this, I'm moving my stops up. 13, let me know if you've done the same thing. If I already made some money, we just had a discussion about not giving money that you make back to the market. If I'm in something like this, this is an idea where I'm raising my stop here.
Beautiful. Guys, we're going to come up to the bottom of the orb in gold. Okay. That is 41. Trying to see exactly what it is. 41.48 on the long side of gold. If we spike down 10 points, this is the 15-minute orb. We will be at the bottom of that orb, 41.48. Yeah, Philippe, I like 48. If we can pull right down, that'll be down 17 points. I'm okay with that if we spike down there. The S&P 500 futures are rippling.
So is the NASDAQ, by the way. Whole market trading up here.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about trending, right? The trend is absolutely continuing. We have some resistance at our previous week high at 67, 66.75. So let's put that out. If we spike all the way up there right now, I like that. 67, 66.75. That would be a short. If we spike up there, we're at about a 75 RSI now. So we like that too. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of a stretchy poo-poo here to the upside. Philippe, I'm still good at 48 in gold. That's down 10 points from here. Works for me. Where are the SPYs? Are we at all-time highs again?
No, we're not. SPYs at 670.43 here.
Okay. One of the
previous all-time highs that we've used as resistance, this was back on Tuesday, was 672.99 to the penny. That is going to be one of our next upside levels here. We also have a pivot here today, 672.10.
And all-time highs around 674.
Yeah, 673.40 something, I think. I have it on the other chart there. Sorry, I don't have the exact number for you.
So I can't imagine if we get some resolution with the government shutdown that it's going to be another catalyst to move this market higher. When we get resolution, we're going to get resolution. It's just a matter of when.
All right, looking around here, Tesla pretty much coming back towards that 425. We'll see if we do that. That's basically where it opened. Netflix, nasty reversal there on Netflix. So we had that big pop. Now, here we go. We are maybe going back down towards that 200-day. Again, what I would love here is for a peak below the 200 and a recapture of that. That actually would be pretty good for a long side trade there. Let's see where it closes. But Netflix giving up its gains from that morning pop.
Yeah, and I think what we say 1107 is the big gigantic number.
I have mine plotted at 1113, but we're in the same area on a stock that expensive, David. We're in the exact same ballpark.
Yeah, right around that big gigantic daily level and weekly level.
NBIS call sweeps, guys. NBIS call sweeps. These are the October 31st Halloween spooky call sweeps here. 125, 130s, maybe part of a spread. NBIS hitting the highs here today. This thing ripping out of the open. NBIS.
All right, let's see if Netflix spikes down another $10 here.
You long in that if it does?
I'll probably do some options. I'm definitely not going to buy the stock.
Yeah, gotcha.
I might day trade the options, actually, if we get down to that level.
David,
my exact level is 1105.
1105. Okay, we're in the same, but we're not even 10 points apart there. Really quick question. When you must have stocks that you like long-term, like Apple, right? Like you were just saying earlier. Do you ever take profits from some of the day trades that you make and maybe roll a little bit of that into some of your longer-term positions?
No.
You just keep it all as cash? Okay.
Yeah, two completely separate accounts. There's a couple of things I'll do with my long terms. Like Apple, I've sold many, many times in Apple over the course of however long I've owned it. And then I buy it back when we get, some big giant moves down. And I will sell some upside calls at times also. Yeah, but my core positions, I never touch those.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Do you ever sell calls against the stock that you own to the upside if you think maybe it's going to go sideways or weak for a little bit? I love that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even if it keeps going up, I don't mind getting some stock called away from me at levels that I'm happy with. So
Sure.
yeah.
And like you just said, you're going to be re-adding that if it comes into one of the support levels that you're waiting for. I think that's good trading right there. That's how you trade around a core position, by the way.
And
That's
by the
exactly
way,
how it's done.
They always do. At some point, we are going to get better levels to enter stocks, even from where we are right now. It happens every single time. Yeah, we just look at that, guys and girls. And this is going to happen to us a lot. Okay. Sometimes we are going to miss trades by a point, a half a point that you look and you say, oh my God, if I only got in that trade, you can't do that, guys and girls. It happens every day. It happens 5 times a day sometimes. But if you look at our ESs, we had our order at 67.66 and it made a high of 67. We had it at 67, 66, 75, and it missed us by 75 cents and just went down 5 points. Happens. What news we got coming out at 10 o'clock, Arlie? It ain't anything economic. I know that. Wow, look at oil, guys. Oil pulled back. So here's a great example, guys and girls, of oil pulling back to the bottom of our 15-minute orb at 61.29 and just gave a 40-cent bounce off that. I don't know what existing home sales. No, existing home sales isn't going to do anything to this market. I shouldn't say that, but it usually does.
10 a.m. is the existing home sale print. That's what we're getting.
Yeah, it usually does.
You're just saying it's not. I got it.
Not a big one, usually. So we want to try and get long gold, guys, but it hasn't pulled back to anything. We got our short up at 41.75. That is the previous day high. You're going to try churn and burning at 10 o'clock? You can try it. If you want to throw away $66. Churn and burn is something, guys, that we do sometimes in our futures accounts. When you're trading with Apex, they have 1 day qualifying. So you can qualify an account in 1 day if you make $3,000. And the way to do it is when we have some big news events coming out, you can buy 10 contracts in one account and short 10 contracts in the other account. And if you make 6 points on it, you have automatically qualified an account in 1 day. So tomorrow morning, we will be doing that when we get all those gigantic numbers coming out.
Real quickly here, this was a rather funny story from the Amazon Web Services outage. It affected $2,000 smart sleep beds, with some Sleep 8 customers left stuck in an inclined position or with an overheating mattress. One of my coworkers actually has this sleep system, and he said that what was happening is that whatever temperature you had it at, it just didn't change throughout the course of the night. So this was rather amusing to me. It's all fun and games until a hacker folds you in half with a bed from a remote location. I'll tell you that much. Can you imagine that, David?
Yes, I can.
I don't want to, but yes, I can.
Guys, the top of the orb is what, 53, 54 in the MESs? Let's move that up. Modify.
And folks, VTYX flirting with its VWAP here and possibly a move above the trend line. We'll see if we get that. Keep it on your radar. That's VTYX, by the way.
67.45 in the ES is good. Boom chakalaka.
Producer here making a joke. Optimus, help. I'm stuck in my smart bed. It would be funny if Optimus was like, not so smart, is it? Stupid human meat sack. Cause of death, eaten by mattress. LOL. I shouldn't joke about that, though.
All right, we're good in gold. We're good in that also. Everything's good. All good, guys and girls. Just one more thing, Ryan. If anyone is interested in our new futures course, just pop up WSGTA.com. Guys, go take a look.
Producer, can you throw those emails on there? I don't have it. Oh, there we go. We got it. We got it.
Guys and girls, we just launched this yesterday. It is 6 hours, all futures, all the time. Comes with lifetime mentorship. Check it out at WSGTA.com. That's it. That's all I got.
Good. 3 more minutes here. It does look like the S&P 500. Looks like the market's slowing down on that impulse move higher here.
Yeah.
Are you at any of your key levels on the ES, David?
Looking now, I'd like to see it pull back to, all right, the top of the orb in this. Yeah, we're coming to a little level now. Top of the orb is 67.54. So we're pulling back to that right now. We'll put a tiny little order out there, see if we hold the top of the orb and maybe get into this trend trade now. MES is now, guys and girls, for now, but if we can hold the top of this orb on a pullback, I like it. We could stay in that and see if we get good bounces off that for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So let's chill out and see what happens. Gold pulling back a little tiny bit, but not much going on. Well, basically, guys, all we had was our pre-market trade. That's it. That's all we've done all day today.
Tara here saying, Ryan, that AWS outage woke everybody up about how many things count on that system. Indeed, it has. Maybe we shouldn't consolidate so much under one system like that, or have some type of redundancy built in. Right?
It was an absolute disaster on all futures accounts. Every single prop firm had major outages and major problems after that happened. They canceled trades. It was just, all right, 10 o'clock. We got this new home sales coming out. All right. Big red news.
I was going to say, any closing words for the group here, David?
Trade, guys. Put money in the bank. Profit. In, out. Patience, discipline.
Love it. Love the lessons. Love the levels. Love the charting. And David, of course, we thank you and Peter for your presence here, as well as the other presents that you give out in terms of the free account. You see what I did there? David, really good stuff here again today. Look forward to catching up with you next week. All right.
See you next week, guys. Thank you for allowing us to be here.
Of course, that is David Green from Futures Fever. On behalf of him and Peter, thank you folks for joining us. That departure leaves room for 13. As soon as there he is, 13 is always got eyes on things. Futures Forward, isn't that? Oh, I said Futures Fever. Oh, no. My producer is going to wrap my wrist with a ruler, I think. Futures Forward. Sorry about that, AT. Let's bring on 13. 13, how you doing here today?
Oh, it's a pretty good morning here. How's everybody else out there? Yeah, it's been doing pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of the times when we do have these, I guess it's not really so much a down day, but we were getting some polling on these names out of the gate. It really do provide some great opportunities. So just been taking advantage of that. What are we looking at right now?
Well, you had mentioned RBNE. It does look like this is kind of flirting with the 65 EMA and might provide a curl back to the VWAP. We're also looking at AREB that produced multiple trades. Kudos to you, by the way. We're going to give you a register ring for hitting that a second time. Here's your AREB chart. We're pretty much right back down to the VWAP. We're also taking a look at VTYX. That's VTYX here, because it actually looks like this is setting up to possibly move through the VWAP and the trend line.
Yeah, I get that sense too. I think the big component here for this one is just going to be the volume. It really does have a decent looking setup, getting good support from the 65 EMA, looking to chew its way through this VWAP where it's at right now. It does look like if we just get that volume, we are going to go higher into the 7 handle. So let
me ask you, what VWAP level do you have specifically? I've got mine at 745.
Oh, mine's at 746.
746. Okay, perfect.
I realize that
you at 739, but we're in the same ballpark again. Ooh, nasty pull.
Yep, right down to 65.
Yep, right down to the 65. Sorry about that, 13.
No worries. I don't even remember what I was going to say, but hey, don't worry, because while that pulls, RBNE is launching.
Okay, let me go to RBNE. We'll take a look at that.
Hello, Sherry.
That did move through it. Let's see what happens. 178, your next spot here, RBNE.
There's a big seller in the way at 175, right about where VWAP is. My VWAP is. So if we chew through that seller, we might actually get into the 180s here off of that move. Looks like AREB is still trying. The volume's not as great, and momentum's starting to swing in the other direction. I don't know how much better AREB's going to be right now. Maybe if we do get some a kind of a pull pretty soon, it'll set up for a better trade later.
You know, I was going to say, 13, we've actually already got 2 really good opportunities on this. Here's another trend line for you. Let's see, but let's not get greedy on AREB. There were 2 really good spots on that already.
SLMT, the Brera holding.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
This one recaptured its 200 EMA on the 5-minute. It's back up at the 65 EMA right now, trying to re-enter the bottom part of the symmetrical triangle I was talking about earlier. After that, the only real big resistance that I see is probably going to be at about 250, but VWAP is up at 1307. So in that range there, I think we could run into some resistance if we recapture the 65 EMA.
Okay, our U.S. Home sale print is out. Thank you, producer. We threw those on the screen.
In line, huh?
In line. Our BNE here.
And
Still going.
What has that done for the market? What has that done for Rocket? You know, what has it done for these names?
Rocket's higher here today. Rocket's 1773, up 2.3% here today.
Yeah, it looks like it got a little pop, a little 10-cent pop off of that news.
Just going through some of the movers here. VTYX. This held that 716 level. Really, I guess needs to get above 740 now. Seems to be the spot. We'll see. And then that trend line here. If we really can't get above this will probably be it.
Yeah, I just need to see that volume expand and take us back over VWAP. Okay, so just kind of looking around here. Do you notice that some of these other names we've been talking about, like looks like IDAI is back up at 4 again. WETH is over 2 now. RBNE up to the VWAP now. There we go. A little bit more volume expansion. We can get to the top of this trend line.
Here we go. RBNE. I didn't take this one, but this is good.
You don't have the trend line on there.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. 13. You're right. Let me. I can fix that. That's an easy fix.
That's an easy fix. That's an easy
fix, buddy. Here it is.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to see get broken. That was a really nice one to break with AREB. So, and AREB actually moving back over VWAP. So watch for some volume expansion here if we get it, because there is a little bit of a mini trend line here now. If we get this volume expansion, we could get back up to this 360, maybe even higher area here. RBNE still trying to push through that VWAP, not through it yet.
Yeah, it's actually just kind of looking at the candle action here. Looks a little heavy, but we are getting the making of a expansion there. So really, this 5-minute candle to me is going to be important.
Also been mentioning Rigetti, RGTI, that 40 was holding. Let me look at this one because I have some levels for this one here. Now this might still be able to get back up towards to the 20-day SMA, which is I have at 41.85. I could certainly see that happening, but whether or not we're going to close several times over that, I don't know yet. This is going to be the kind of area that's going to be the area where I'm watching for, to see if we end up getting that resistance, because then I'm going to consider picking RGTZ back up if we do get that resistance.
Okay, so let me go to the RGTI chart there.
And while you're looking at that, just want to mention VTYX now trying to make that move over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give us a pop here. 750 looks to be where there was a lot of stock traded there. VTYX.
750, 755, and there's a bigger seller at 760 as well, all the way up there.
Good stuff, 13. Good stuff, 13.
Good stuff, 13. All right.
Oh, we're going to make a song out of this. Where's the producer at? By the way, I took my eyes off of it. God bless it. Netflix here, folks. Netflix beneath its 200-day. Okay, so again, I had that 200-day 11.13. What do you have it as, 13? Just out of curiosity. And VTYX working now.
Give me 1 second, because I'm on VTYX here. Not sure how much we're going to get out of this. But,
yeah, me either.
Maybe 8. But
my stop's at VWAP at this point.
Yeah.
745. Cross that to the downside. I'll be out this for a little bit. We'll see if it's got the move. Otherwise, we'll just sell into another impulse move.
Yeah, and as far as Netflix goes, I know I said some things about where this is going in the happy hour.
Stopped out of VTYX. Let's stopped out for a little bit of a gain there. So technically 2 for 2. Wanted to see more of a launching pad than that. Sorry.
I'm just trying to look and see what the last thing I said about. Okay, so I didn't think Netflix would have the run that it did. I think Netflix having the run that it did would see some selling to make room for the buying of the more beaten up names. I think it could come down to 1040 to 1080, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it went down to 1,000. So that's the last thing I said about Netflix. That was back in May, I think.
Okay. Tell you, for a day trade here, I'm looking at the options that expire tomorrow for Netflix. We talked about that with David. The 1125 call here, you can probably get for $5, maybe a little bit more than that.
You might have gotten shaken out of VTYX if we get a blast off right here.
Yep, and you know what? I was actually adding it when it was dipping below the VWAP, so that's okay. Let me put it back on the screen though, because maybe there will be another spot for me to buy on that. So here we go. Here's the trend line. We're basically at this right now.
Yeah. A little bit of volume to take us through some of these sellers, and we could see the top side of 775 again.
Market
is he VTYX, and
yeah,
stop trying to screw Ryan up with VKTX.
That's bet he lives for that. VTYX, this is actually going through the trend line here.
Yep, good stuff. Yep.
783 it looks like. What was the top of this opening candle? The 782 I think is probably going to be your next spot to really send it.
I want to see this get above 775.
Okay, well, it's not far from that.
No, we're all in the same area there.
Lion, take care of yourself.
Take care, Lion.
There's 775.
There we go. Good time to raise stops. Maybe start shaving, because this is still looking like it's running into a lot of resistance, and that the 815 area looks like that could be a real heavy area given the price action this morning in the pre-market.
A little bit of a pull here. We'll see if that sets up. It's still obviously coming into some resistance there at that trend line. No question about it.
We're talking about telomere earlier. This is getting some slow movement up towards the VWAP, but as I continue to say, I think the real big news that we want to watch for is the IND submission.
Yeah, and I highlighted that. I appreciated you throwing that in the chat. I highlighted that this morning.
And they're expecting to do that before this year is over. So it's going to be this quarter when we get that submission, because they want to start human trials early next year.
In 2026, right? We actually got news on that about a month ago, didn't we? Or was that before that? Was that the news before that?
I'm pretty sure that was this month that we were getting that news. We might have been getting news in September as well, but we were getting some news as well in this month.
Okay, VTYX did pull, and it's now beneath its VWAP. Good morning, Alex. New to the chat. Welcome, buddy. Thanks for joining us here today. We have a lot of fun here, so I hope you like having fun. In addition to trading, we actually blend the two things together pretty well.
Yeah, when we do these great trades, we get really excited. There's a lot of bells and whistles and flashing lights. At least in my head, there is. There we go. I knew I heard something. All right. What are you looking at, Born? Born. Oh, you're just saying salutations. Cool. All right. Well,
we can also do movie announcer voice if you want.
Jesus.
But we could also just stick to the market here. Didn't mean to frighten anybody. VTYX still pulling a little bit here.
You sound like the voice from the Jackbox murder mystery game. I don't know if you ever played that.
God, no. God,
A-Reb.
That sounds familiar though.
A-Reb is getting some movement here. Anybody that's ever played the game knows though. Oh yeah, we're also
Izzy
the food
says
channel.
we're really the food channel.
Yeah, just give it time. Give it time. We'll talk about Alex. We'll talk about food. Don't worry.
Just wait till we have another day where Beyond Meat and Krispy Kreme are trading up together. That's really when you're going to get all of that talk. That's wild.
They should just combine and be Beyond Donuts. Oh, I don't even want to think about what that would taste like, but it'd be a equally valued combination, I think. SLMT is still making its way up towards its 65 EMA, trying to get back up there after losing it out of the open. It did get some good support from the 200 EMA. It still needs to get re-enter that symmetrical triangle. VTYX, after we did get a pop, it took us up to that 775 area.
Yep.
Right back down. Now getting support from the 65.
Now I don't feel so bad about getting stopped out on that first pull. I'm serious. I could I have done better and sold it up in a 770? Yeah, I could have. We should actually do that. We should make a movie where like Beyond Meat and Krispy Kreme are like the main protagonists.
Are you ready? One piece of fake meat and a donut.
There's just a lot of stuff that we could do with that. It would be super fun. A-Rod, by the way, possibly breaking the trend line that we have here from the open.
Oh man, I'm sure the wheels and producer's head are turning.
Yeah. Producer, the image that you just put that image in Restream. We're going to share that with the group.
One burger, one donut.
Oh jeez.
I mean, that I felt like my heart skip a little bit just looking at the image.
Beyond cream.
Okay, this is a family show. Let's just.
Hey, I'm just combining the names, buddy.
I like that. Rudy says, "Keep the voice." You know what? Maybe I found something here. Maybe we found something here.
Yeah, put on some Barry White too, and then we'll talk about stocks.
Can't get enough of your love, baby.
There we go.
That's what we do. It's what we do. What do we think? Do we think A-Reb's going through this trend line or no?
Maybe not with this volume.
It feels a tad weak.
Yeah. MACD's starting to indicate that this momentum's petering out a little bit here. 330 has a big seller in the way.
Yeah.
I think we need to see better volume than this.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you were finishing up. I was going to a different stock.
I was just going to say it's probably going to have to be to the tune of 3.5 to 4 million shares at least in a 5-minute candle in order to meaningfully move up higher with A-Reb. It's starting to get some movement now, though.
Don't look now, but Netflix bouncing at that spot. Did anyone take this? I actually did not take that 11.25 call. You know what? 530 bid, 560 ask. That's still in the price range here.
A-Reb is getting that movement now.
Let me go back to it. Let me put it on screen here. A-Reb.
345 next seller in the way.
Oh, look at that trend. The trend lines, 13. Believe in the trend lines.
They don't want to stop, do they?
No. No chill.
All right, so there's A-Reb. I'm not sure how much we're going to get out of this move over the trend line. We still have that 1362 high. I still think volume's the big issue here for A-Reb. We need to see more volume in this.
Yeah, I think if you're going to get any carry through here, 13, you really do want to see that volume continue to pour in here and expand.
Yep, take out that 345, and we might get up to that 362 high we made.
Yep, that'd be perfect.
Bonjour, smoked tuna. Are you ready?
Also, SLMT, Barrera Holdings. This is now getting back into, or trying to get back into the symmetrical triangle. We are above the 65 EMA, making our way up to the VWAP. I have VWAP at 1298, so just shy of 13. That's where it looks like it's headed. VTYX, on the other hand,
was this really quickly on SLMT? I put the trend line on the chart here. Was this one of the sides of that symmetrical triangle you had?
No.
No. Okay.
Let me see here where I have that. You might be right. Hold on. No, because we haven't broken through it yet.
Okay. All I did was basically just connect some of these highs with the trend line. So I was just wondering if I got close there.
Yeah, the high that I started. Okay, maybe you don't have that print, or maybe you do. It's the after hours print that took us up to 1869 is where I started with.
Aha.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I ran it through the high from the pre-market. That's the trend. That's the top end of the symmetrical triangle. Then you can probably see the bottom now if you start from the closing print of yesterday and draw it through the low of the pre-market.
Got it. Thank you, 13. Here I'm eyeballing the closing print, but here's the low.
No, the low of the pre-market.
Oh,
we didn't get that print until the open.
Yep. My bad.
That's the triangle that I was looking at.
Got it. I'm just trying to fill this triangle out so we can kind of visualize it as we go. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. All right, and
market did pull off that high, by the way.
Yeah, AREB hasn't gone a whole lot higher. It's still going to be that issue of volume. It's better volume than we got a couple of like 10, 15 minutes ago, and we're still trying to push through the 345 resistance. Just need to see a little bit more volume, and we'll get it. But I'm not in this right now, by the way.
Yeah, neither am I. No, I have no day trades on. STNX getting mentioned here by Tuna. This halted here, 129 to the upside. Pretty good volume here. Scienture shares are trading higher after the company announced the start of a commercial sales and fulfillment. The first orders of RB, not RBs, but ARBII.
Oh, do they have the meats?
What do you have you seen the commercials for those steak nuggets?
Okay, you know what? I don't eat Arby's. Okay, I'll just tell you that right now. I don't eat it. It's gross.
You have a bad experience or something?
No, I don't. It's just every time that I've ever tried to eat something of theirs, it just doesn't taste right.
Okay.
So I don't eat Arby's.
Okay. Well, that just threw some cold water. I'll tell you what, the first time I saw that commercial, I was like, steak nuggets. How is it 2025? And this is the first I've seen that.
Too enamored with chicken nuggets, I guess.
I guess so. Oh, that's it. You want a hot take? Sure. You guys ready for a hot take here? All right. Chicken wings have bones in them. There is no such thing as a boneless chicken wing. If you say that you have a boneless chicken wing, you have a chicken nugget.
Marrow's good.
Marrow?
Bone marrow's just fine.
No, that's you're missing the point.
Okay, I got you.
But okay. There's no such thing as boneless wings. If someone orders boneless wings or likes boneless wings, they like chicken nuggets. There's nothing wrong with chicken nuggets. Chicken wings have bones in them. That's just how it works. Sorry.
Jay Rice, I believe that was Nature Lion, and I don't think I've seen him here today. And I think he was looking for 94.
Yeah, the price target was 94. It was Nature's Lion. We haven't seen him here today. I don't know what that means. I don't want to jump to conclusions.
AREB had a pop that took it all the way up to 360, and then it.
So we took three.
Yeah, it went up and then it came right back down. So that was a really quick move.
Interesting. I don't have that on TradingView, but I do have that on my broker. You're exactly right, 13.
So we were talking when it happened. You had to be, or you had to have your order out in order to get that. But we got a little pop there. We're still hanging out above the trend line. So we'll see if it can continue to trade higher. What might end up happening is we could end up trading into a ascending triangle if we don't make some newer lows, if we continue to hold above VWAP and just continue to making higher lows as we rise up towards 360 again. Because if we do that and we start to see some volume expansion at 360 as we create it,
could really go.
We could blast off beyond 360. Yeah. So that would be the next thing to be watching for, is to see if we trade into a symmetrical triangle. An ascending triangle. The steak nuggets are the nuggets no one asked for. 2 thumbs down from the producer.
I'm just saying, it looked good to me.
Here's what they look like to me. They look like burn ends.
Yeah. And it's not going to be nearly as good as real.
It's not going to be anywhere near as good. They're probably going to be tough and chewy. They're not going to fall apart.
That's a good point.
They're look. If you've been spoiled by burnt ends, you know that those Arby's steak bites are going to be dog shit. Just saying.
I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to dispute that.
Well done.
Crow's asking Jay if someone really said that. Yes, we had the call was for a gap fill up to 94. Now, look, person's not here to defend himself. We're not going to disparage another individual on this program. They could have been joking because they were talking about a gap fill from the chart. But yes, that conversation was had. I was just telling you guys yesterday, be careful beyond me. Big pull here in AREB.
And they might be, and they were citing Reddit, so they could have been joking. That's entirely possible.
Yeah, I'm not. We're not trying to turn this into a he said, she said, all of that. But
I think AREB might be finished for now.
Yeah, this is a broadsword now, officially, I think.
Oh yeah, it's going right down to the 65 EMA where it got support out of the gate this morning.
Now remember, after that second move up to the trend line, I told you that I thought that the easy money was probably made here on AREB. These are the types of things that I am generally worried about when we talk about some of these smaller movers. So just Hopefully you were careful there. Tenzin said, I told you, fake pumps everywhere.
That's okay. They can be fake later as long as they're making me money while I'm trading them. And that's what we've been doing. We've been actually doing pretty good about trading these and getting out of them before they knife on us.
I have done a really good job of not going back. The way I've looked at it is I've been like, you're battling FOMO right now. The chat's looking at multiple plays on some of these. It's not just AREB here today, a multiple of these. And I have done a really good job not going back and giving back some of the money that I've made off those trades. I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah. And we are getting really close to the time where volume, not that it's already low, but it's going to get even lower as the traders get up from their desks, people go out to lunch, all that good stuff. We have about 7 minutes left before the 10:30 mark comes, where we start to see that happen. Just to keep that in mind. So let these things fall out of bed. We'll come back later on this afternoon. We'll trade them. NMRA is setting up.
Yeah, I was just throwing this on the screen here. NMRA. We had one big impulse move. We had a pullback. Now we have a cross through the VWAP. Tuna, this is a good mention here. Same deal though. We really want to see some more volume pour into this.
It's going to need a lot of volume because at 232, there's a large seller that's just kind of restricting any access to the upside. So
yes, sir.
Watch for that seller to get taken out. It's going to need a lot of volume to get through that. So that would be the big concern I have right now at 232. Large seller.
John E. Booth. This SCNX, this was a penny stock earlier today. We did trade all the way up to 140. Looks like this was halted once? Yeah. So we've had one halt here today. This now open, pulling back a little bit, closing that gap. We'll see if 120 supports it. SCNX.
Speaking of gaps, if you look at a daily chart for SCNX, there's a gap from August 13th to 14th that is trying to fill right now. And that gap actually fills at 210.
Yes, sir. That's what I got.
So you still might end up seeing that happen. It might take longer than just this morning, as we keep continuing to cite the low volume period where people are out at lunch. Maybe this comes back and goes up to that gap fill area after the lunch hour is over in the afternoon. We've seen a lot of these come back in the afternoon, so certainly possible this one could too.
QS moving on volume. Kath got her eye on all the movers. I love it. This also, that's actually through its 65 EMA, substantially above its VWAP. The resistance area looks to be 16 on QS.
Oh, you're looking at QS?
QS. Quebec Sierra.
Oh, look at this. That's a nice reversal. What happened yesterday that pulled it down? Earnings happened, it looks like. No, maybe it didn't. No, that was after hours.
Well, the earnings were yesterday after hours. Yeah.
So I'm just kind of wondering what pulled it down during the day yesterday.
Maybe this was moving with the rest of the quantum names, which were really kind of.
Oh, yeah, all the speculative names. So that would include the nuclear, the batteries.
Some of the drone plays. Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and they didn't, they didn't lose as much money this quarter as they did last, as was expected. Loss of 18 cent EPS versus a loss of 21. So that's nice that they're not losing as much. But man, this is this company, their share structure just sucks. It's so heavy. I'm just saying, it makes it a little bit harder to trade. I mean, this thing would be just an absolute mover, like a crazy mover, if it didn't have 450 million shares in the float. Yeah,
no, that's true. Oh, by the way, Jay Rice, you're reminding me here. For those of you that are remembering, I know Jay Rice is talking about the fluff names yesterday. We already covered that. But if you recall, Jay, really good advice given out here yesterday live on the show. Jay had said, look, I don't think that now is the time to press shorts. Look what the market did here today.
Yeah.
Came back up. That was a really good call, Jay. I don't think I gave you credit live on that. I know we talked about it a little bit, but that was a really good mention. And Roadhog mentioning that Netflix is stuck at its 200 EMA. This is one of the reasons why earlier today I was talking about closing and recapturing. Like I'm okay being a little bit patient here with Netflix, especially if you're going to add just, a little bit of shares to kind of trade. I want to see what this does at the close around that moving average. And furthermore, if it closes beneath the 200, I don't think it's over yet. Tomorrow, Monday, maybe it recaptures that 200-day. To me, that's even a more bullish upside setup. So I want to see what it does with the closing print here today on Netflix and with respect to its 200-day moving average.
I want to see it go lower.
Try Refresh Pro here real quick.
Really want to see Netflix go lower. I think that,
what was your target, 1080 or something?
My target's going to be 1040 to 1080.
1040 to 1080.
I think it could come down to there, but I wouldn't be surprised if we end up going down to 1,000. I would not be surprised.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely, Jay Rice. Make sure you've got a shopping list ready, especially when we get a big pull down in the market, so that you can be ready to buy the names that you think are good companies with good fundamentals, good cash flow, that are that are kind of hammered down. And we've been talking a lot about the different sectors that are really beaten up this year. Those are the ones where I'm finding a lot of plays that I want to hold into the next year. Talked a lot of there's a lot of folks that are talking about food. We have some folks in our happy hour chat that are long Campbell Soup and Tyson. So. Yep. Certainly some names, worth taking a look at if you're looking for some long plays going into next year.
Real quick here, Alex saying, has anyone talked about Palantir? Alex, this is a really good question. We have not spent a lot of time talking about Palantir here today. I did add a little bit of PLTZ, and 13, I think you still hold some PLTZ. Yep. So we haven't looked at Palantir here yet today, but it seems like, at least the two of us here, the show bias thinks that we're kind of looking for a move lower here. So instead of outright shorting Palantir, what instead we're doing is we're actually buying PLTZ, which is a 2x levered ETF. I added some of this yesterday. It was a starter position. I'm down on it. I added it at 748. So here we are at 717. I'd probably add a little bit more if we got to 7 here. Again, I'm in just nibbling on this one. I don't have a huge position on this. So I'd be looking to, I like to scale into these. And then when I get the move, sell into the strength. Sorry, Rooney, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to answer Rooney's question. I'm not buying RGTI. I'm only just kind of keeping an eye on it because I want to get back into RGTZ. I just don't think it's quite the right time yet. I don't want to buy it and then get into a short squeeze. I'm waiting for certain things to happen first, and I don't think it's gone high enough for me to be really that interested in going short on this yet.
Izzy, I saw that news here. The FBI arresting Chauncey Billups for gambling. He's the coach of the Trailblazers. I guess there's an official saying that there's an alleged gambling ring that also involves the Toronto Raptors. They said Rangers. He means Raptors. Rangers are a baseball team and a hockey team. Alex says, I'm adding PLTZ also. I think you mentioned it yesterday. Thanks. We did talk about, we've been talking about Palantir here.
Since you brought up gambling, I just took a quick look at DraftKings. This is still looking.
I love the flow.
This is still looking to me like it's going to go lower. I still think that we're getting that head and shoulders resolution. I think $30, maybe even lower, is in its future. We're getting a rejection today from the 20-day SMA. So I don't know what else is going to be the catalyst that moves us down, but just the technicals telling me that this is going to head lower.
Okay, so DraftKings bias lower here. That's okay with me. I use FanDuel for my sports betting. That's ticker FLUT Flutter. Let's see how that's doing by comparison. It's actually a little bit weak too. What do you think of this chart, 13? Just out of curiosity.
Kind of similar to DraftKings. This also looks like it's going lower.
Interesting. Okay.
You're gonna have a and it's been oscillating, so I don't know how much we can rely on that, but there is going to be a death cross occurring here if the price doesn't recapture the 200 in the next month or so. We are getting a rejection of the 20-day SMA here with Flutter as well. I would say that the 50-day SMA is probably going to. I'm sorry, the 500-day SMA is going to be in its future.
By the way, NMRA Tuna called this live when it was set up. Not before it started to move here. Now it's moving. Tuna, I know the trade's not closed yet, but you're getting a preemptive register ring. Chewbacca loves what you do here for the group. Really, really good stuff there. Matt's asking for PLTZ. Do you buy stock or options on this? I've been buying stock because It's easier for me. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier. It's easier for me to leg into that. If I buy 100 or 200 shares and the stock goes against me, I'm down 100, $200. Big deal, right? Not the end of the world there. I like shares on those ETFs unless I feel really good about a multi-day direction and I feel like I'm going to be accurate. Then maybe I can incorporate the leveraged asset there. That's a good question, though. Talk a little bit about that.
And one of the big things that I have concerns about when it comes to these gambling companies is that you're getting these prediction market companies that are really starting to eat into their profits. So as those get bigger and more popular, we're going to need to see, some of these like DraftKings and Floater. They're going to have to start bringing some of that stuff, or they're going to lose market share. They also don't have as good payouts as some of these prediction market companies do. So that's pretty much the big headwind, in my opinion, for these gambling stocks. They're losing market share to the prediction markets. NMRA that was mentioned earlier, keep an eye on it. We're approaching that 232 level where that big seller is. If we get the volume expansion here, we're taking them out.
This is a really good mention, Tuna. Tuna here says any pop sell day. I'm with you on that too.
Yeah.
And look, we were just talking about that on what was that? I don't think it was Arab. It was where's my sheet here? VTYX, I think. We were talking about that moving up. I sold it maybe a little bit early, then we broadsorted.
Yeah, RGTZ continuing lower. So
wasn't this one?
Yeah, I'm waiting for this to go lower. There'll be opportunities. As a matter of fact, RGTZ may end up going beneath that low this morning of 1145. That's entirely possible as well, just based on the way this. Here we go. So Nature's Lion, hello, welcome back. We were just talking about you. There were several folks asking about the price target for Bind. Just popping in to say I'm still in Bind from 60 cents. So we've been talking a lot about how Beyond Meat really kind of moved to the downside here. Let me just ask you just an outright question. Your $94 price target that you had yesterday, were you serious about that, or was this a gap fill Reddit type joke thing? I mean, obviously, if you're in from 60 cents, I totally get it. You're still up massively on your position, but clarify that for the group. Was that a joke? Do you seriously think this thing is going to 94? We're not going to disparage you or anything like that. Yeah, maybe there's something we're missing.
He says, don't forget the gap at 94.
Yeah, I mean, you say gap as if, there wasn't price action prior to that, but there is. But that gap, I know that I get the gap you're talking about. That's like from 85 to 94. But got a lot of price to go through before we even get to that gap. And I don't see any other gaps ahead of that.
Kathy here saying Netflix is holding its 200-day. If it drops below the 200-day, you're going to exit.
BYND in for a play, says Mama Bear.
Izzy saying there's more Amazon Web Services issues. No, dude, take it back. Put it back in.
I guess Bezos wasn't done being funny.
Is he ever?
I mean, in his mind, I guess not. When are you going to get Lex Luthor up on there with that collage?
That's a good question. Actually, this Beyond Meat chart looks like it is curling maybe towards that 338 area.
Yeah, there's a big trend line for in Beyond Meat that it still has yet to break. I drew it from the highs in the pre-market yesterday through the high of the regular session, and haven't broken that yet. Looks like we're getting some more lower prints and some of the names we were looking at here. iBio. This one wasn't looking good out of the gate, but hasn't really done a whole lot. RBNE, this is still curling back up, making another attempt at the VWAP. We've got a seller in the way at 168. So should be able to at least hit VWAP if we can take that seller out. AREB, this is looking like it's going lower. Is that?
It's not stock related. I'm just reading about the Chauncey Billups gambling arrest. Listen to this. Details of rigged poker games that Damon Jones and Chauncey Billups were involved in. This came from the U.S. Attorney press conference, by the way. They had X-ray machines built into the tables to read face-down cards. They had contact lenses and glasses that would read pre-marked cards, and they had secret cameras and card trays. I need to. I'm sorry for distracting from the show here. I definitely want to read about this type of stuff. I don't know if there's necessarily a trade right away, but this absolutely could kind of morph into something else. It is so crazy, Wiz. It is so crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry for distracting from the group. I know not everybody's here for sports, but that's wild.
Where was this being done at?
I don't know yet because I haven't been able to actually read or watch any of the press conferences. I just saw the breaking news and I'm trying to like go through that. And that's why I said, wow, because I'm learning in real time.
Okay.
Phillips got arrested in Oregon.
Okay. I was just trying to see if there was anything that we could link to casinos. Yeah, see, Ben's Coop, that's kind of what I'm wondering is just how's this going to affect casinos?
You know what's funny about that is that Las Vegas Sands reported its earnings yesterday. They traded higher, went higher today, and I actually think this bodes well for Wynn.
Okay. There was a comment that I was looking at here. I missed it. Oh, Black Mamba asking SMCI fraud anyone? Yeah, I don't want to touch SMCI.
They had news here this morning.
They had news. They had something about preliminary earnings. Look, they gave it all back already.
Yep. Earnings in 12 days from now confirmed.
I just don't trust the company. After all that stuff that happened, I think it was last year. I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, there's just so many other things for us to trade. That's my thing.
Yeah, I don't think SMCI is really that trustworthy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Short Portland. There we go. Skynet still testing for vulnerabilities. Joseph, it's just SMCI. It's such a I don't want to say it's a fraudulent company, but they do some really, really sketchy shit.
Be right back. 1 sec, 13.
No problem. I don't the fact that they've been, in trouble twice for accounting issues and they've had to shuffle around their accounting staff on more than one occasion, and then they end up hiring some of these people back after the dust is settled. I don't want to touch this company. They might be making billions, and that's fine. There are a lot of other companies that are making billions too. I don't want to be in this company when the next article hits about how they've committed some kind of financial fraud again, and the price gets cut in half. Don't want to touch this company. All right, so we've got RBNE bouncing. Yes, it's still bouncing off the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. We're getting another test here of the VWAP pretty soon. Now, what I'd like to see with this test is I'd like to see this one actually make it through the VWAP and go to some of these, probably at least to the high that it made prior to the open. That's going to be 189. So if we can get through this VWAP here, I'd like to see a run to 189.
Is that RBNE?
Yeah. That's what I'd like to see. That would also break the trend line. So we're going to need to see a lot of volume.
Bob, I love this just as a general rule of thumb. Invest in integrity, not deception.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mushroom steaks for BYND. So that's one of the
pass.
So here's the thing. That might be cost effective. It might have some kind of good angle for the company on a cost angle, but I don't know if those are going to sell. The product has to sell, and last time they didn't, and they had to go bankrupt. So that I don't think that just simply changing the formula of their fake meat is going to, make it turn into sales or increase sales. That would be the big concern I have with Beyond Meat. Is that new formula going to translate into sales? Meat allergies, guys, big market. I eat grass-fed beef and grass-finished. Well, Mama Bear, maybe I can send you some information about a company that I work with that you might want to take a look at. They have organic grass-fed beef, and they are Prop 12. I think it's Prop 12 certified. SCNX, Smoked Tuna says he likes it here.
Okay, that was one that was halted earlier, wasn't it? SCNX. Yeah, I believe it was.
100% runner.
Yep, SCNX. This has had one halt here today by my count.
I just don't want to step on any toes if I'm not allowed to promote other companies. Don't want to do that. So I'll have to just give it to you guys offline or send it to Ryan and he can give it to you guys.
I don't think there is a...
If we're unsure, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
I'll just give you the information and you can distribute it to them.
Gotcha. I'm in big trouble then. I promote Costco all the time on this show.
They're publicly traded.
Rethinking my life now.
But they're publicly traded. Completely different.
Okay. Fair enough. Here,
let me just pull up the website and then we'll go back to this stock trading. Okay.
I literally, my entire life flashed before my eyes when you said that. I was like, I have promoted so many effing companies on this thing.
Lion's Mane Steak. Mushrooms are the future. Well,
a fungus is not the future.
The Last of Us certainly thought that was the case, but not in a good way. Anybody that knows. Benzinga saying CrowdStrike is at intraday all-time highs. Take care, Judge. See you later.
One of the producers is telling me to eat a hot dog on stream. I don't even know how to follow up with that, to be quite honest with you.
Joseph, my whole thing is I don't know if I'm able to, and I don't want to, start promoting something that Benzinga is not getting any cut of. So that's the whole reason I just was, being cautious about it. I just don't know.
Yeah, he's taking a safe approach where instead of just doing it and then asking for apologies, we'll instead ask for permission.
Yeah. We do have let's see, RBNE at the VWAP again.
And then real quick here, we wanted to get some levels here. Where is that comment? Jay Harris says, Ryan, sorry, I lost my signal. One more time, can you give some Netflix levels? Well, we're currently at one. I have the 200-day here at 114. We're currently at 111. We had, what was the other level that you had? We have 1014, which is a trend line thereabouts. What was the other level that you had, 13?
My range was 1040 to 1080, and then I wouldn't be surprised if it goes as low as 1,000.
Okay. So there you go, 1,000, then 1040 to 1080, and then the big one is we're at the 200-day here today. So Jay Harris, what I am specifically looking for myself, maybe let's close beneath the 200 today, recapture it tomorrow, and then blast off on Monday. I have no idea if we're going to get that, but that would be one of the things I'd be looking for here.
Look, I appreciate all the facts about mushrooms, guys, but the point remains is that they're going to have to sell, and I don't see them outselling meat. Now, I get the point about, what does a vegetarian order from a steakhouse? My thought is vegetarians aren't typically going to steakhouses. And steakhouses, they shouldn't carry fake meat because I think that would diminish the entire idea that they're a steakhouse. They're a fake house at that point.
Take that. Take that.
Hopefully nothing, Nature Lion. Hopefully they don't even go in steakhouses. And I don't think that steakhouse, like I just said, I don't think steakhouses should be carrying fake meat.
Yeah, and producer, before you get any wacky ideas, there's just a 0.00% chance that I eat a, what did you call it, a lion's mane steak on stream? No. Nope, not happening. RBNE trading back up towards the VWAP, maybe also the trend line break here.
Oh, look at, there we go. Crow's hitting the right notes now. 21-day aged A5 Wagyu.
We were talking earlier about how sometimes this is the food. I think Crow joked about this being a Food Network. That's what we're getting here now.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I should cook breakfast on stream while we're trading.
You need an apron if you do that. Smoke Tuna says RBNE no touch. Why, Tuna? Is just because it's below the VWAP? What would it take to? I just wondering some more context on that. I'm not in it, by the way. I'm not going to trade it either. Really interested to see what Netflix does at the close. Like, I'm almost want to like fast forward to the close here today.
So many things. It just looks like everything is like really slowed down, and I just not really looking at seeing anything that's interesting to trade. And they wanted us to take a look at some stocks, maybe, because nothing looks like it's really got that decent of a setup. Maybe there's some potential movement happening in the Webull, but the volume in these things just doesn't look like they're going to have any meaningful breakouts. You know, SLMT might be getting a little bit of volume, but I don't know if it's going to get back up into the triangle. And if it does, it's still got the VWAP to deal with.
And let me just send one message here to one of my coworkers real quick.
Secret Life, Jeremy. That's right.
Rigetti is still moving. Sorry, I took my eyes off of that. Rigetti is actually grinding higher here. Here's RGTX, which is your 2x levered long. This, oh my God, 237. Wow. Here's your RGTI. Here's the actual underlying. Kathy, are you trading this one?
So about Webull, we're down in a consolidation area from June. This is where ideally support would kick in. There is still a possibility that this could go as low to the lows of that consolidation, which is down around 1025. Then you have a final line in the sand from April earlier this year that saw a low of what is this 954. I'm pretty skeptical we'll get that low. It looks like we have a better chance of turning around within this demand zone down here. And it looks like we're starting to do that turnaround, but I still think we need some more time to actually establish some footing before we make our way back into the this triangle that we've been trading into since following the drop back in April. Bull doesn't deserve its ticker. Not right now. It doesn't. Not right now. I don't know. I don't know if we'll get that reversal down here. It certainly looks like a good demand zone where it could, but volume's just volume hasn't been that great today, and I still think we could trade sideways for a time before it ends up going in the chosen direction. Baru just got a big volume pump.
Baru again.
Yeah, what's going on with Baru?
Still a penny stock. Feel like it was 30 cents the last time we talked about it.
This isn't really too big of a jump. We're talking like a penny. It just had a reversal off of 32.5 cents. It's now up at 34 and crossing VWAP. So this might be able to get up to 35, but I don't know if we're going to go a whole lot higher than that. Lots of resistance from here to 35. We would need some really good volume in Baru.
Okay, see if we get it. Market's still at the highs here, 670. S&P futures up near the highs. Where did gold end up going here today? Oops, GLD.
Looks like iBio is still trying to turn around, but this is another one that needs volume. These all need volume. They're not going to get these moves that we're looking for, especially now with the the volume in the market being down where it is now with the lunch hour.
Netflix rolling back over here, 11:09.
SCNX, nice. How's that looking? Yeah, this one actually looking like it's still trying to turn around, but I do want to see better volume in this as well. 147 is the session high. Looks like the resistance is at about 140. So if we get good volume expansion as we approach that level, we should be able to put in a new session high. Just not sure if we're going to get that because the volume doesn't look that great, and there's a lot of sellers from here, to up to 135, 140. All the way up to 150. Lots of sellers every 5 cents in the way. Seems like something is going to have to really get beaten down before it has a really good reversal. Like iBio might still be able to do that, but even the volume right now doesn't look that great. It just might be one of those things where we just have to wait for the lunch hour to pass. Or as soon as we get off stream, something will go, because that tends to happen too. All quantum dipping,
I mean, Rigetti is like pulling slightly off of its grind high. Intraday grind to the highs, I should say.
Yeah.
Wiz saying there's never any volume after a day like yesterday. We have seen that, Wiz, and we're absolutely seeing that here today. I think we traded above the average on SPY of 71 million shares or something like that. Today, it seems like a ghost town out there.
Yeah, I've got the 20-day SMA and let's just say 44 as areas where I'm looking at maybe starting to rebuild the RGTZ position. Not sure yet if I'm going to do that right at the 20-day SMA, but 44 looking like a better area. All right, SCNX, here we go. Getting that volume expansion finally.
There you go. That's exactly what you talked about.
And let's see if we can get through 147 or if we're just going to get a rejection again. Ionic, much better.
I think he means much better than Rigetti.
Yeah. New candle forms at 130 on the 4-hour. Key time frame for reversals. Good point. Thank you, Jay. All right. So far, SCNX, we did get up to 144, almost 145. A little bit of a pull there. Going to want to see this volume continue to expand so we can get through 147, but those sellers are still in the way. So as long as we can get enough volume to shoot through all those sellers, should be able to see the top side of 147. But if we don't get it, then we're probably coming back into VWAP.
Tell you what, I don't see a whole lot here. I'm definitely still interested in Netflix, where it closes with respect to that 200-day. I don't see any really great setups that I'm interested in here. I know you guys, that was a really good call there on SCNX. Maybe it does break this intraday high. I don't have any other setups here. Oh, excuse me.
Sorry, just reading some things.
It's okay. 13, I tripped over a Kleenex box last night. Thought I really hurt myself, but it turns out it was just tissue damage.
Oh, that's okay. Trying to blow your nose instead you blew out your knee.
Yeah, I mean, things happen sometimes. It's crazy how it works like that.
Getting asked about the different lines on a MACD. You've got they're different period lines, and they're going to be a couple of signal lines, and when they cross, that indicates a swing in momentum. You also have a histogram too. You typically use these for changes in momentum.
Mama Bear says, Ryan, are you shorting PLTR? Yes, but I'm long PLTZ and I'm long small right now and under where my first buy was. But yes, I am looking to add to that. I do think PLTR will come back in, especially if we sell off a little bit. And I would use PLTZ in order to capture that movement. Smoke, why are you telling us to get a room? How does that even make sense? Michelle says that was a very dry joke. I'll try and spice it up for the next one.
Like a piece of toast for sure.
There we go. Okay. Wow. We'll add butter to the toast next time. Jeez. Tough crowd today, folks.
I know.
Let's go back to movie announcer voice.
Are you ready? Two men this fall try to make sense of the market.
Doing my best here, guys. Benny says, I love the dad jokes. Benny, you're awesome. Bonus points for you today. I don't know what that means, but good stuff.
Getting a reversal in Rigetti after hitting the 20-day SMA. Not saying that we're reversing now, but we're could happen. We'll see.
Nope, didn't eat the hot dog yet.
Mushroom toast. There you go. Well, and Lion, I'll say this. There are some folks that do like to have mushrooms on their steak. So maybe a vegetarian could order a steak, but hold the steak. You know what I mean? And then they'll just get mushrooms.
I feel like they would massively overpay for those.
I'm joking with you, man. Just joking with you. Why did the tofu cross the chicken or across the road to prove it wasn't chicken? It's
and my joke was dry.
It's Joseph's BYND.
But mine was dry.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. All right, 13.
VYTX. This is now losing the $7 level. Looks like this is going to be finished here for now. Is it time to go?
It's time to go.
All right, folks.
Closing
Party's over. Party's over. Fun day. We did have some pretty good movement, especially in some of these gold and rebounds and quantum names, but looks like they're starting to peter out a little bit here. So we'll see what we end up getting tomorrow. Great week so far, folks. I'll see you on Friday for the big finale. So take care. I'll see you then. Goodbye.
All right, 13, really good stuff here today. As always, we will see you later today. Folks, we are out of hit for today. I will promise I'll be 2% better with the dad jokes starting tomorrow. We'll try and not make them as dry. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Enjoy the game tonight if you're interested in that, but be rested and ready to come back with us here tomorrow. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused.